Benga, I'm sorry. Benga, where are we again? We on?
This is meant to be Breakfast Central, but
are you sure we have the right person working with us?
Well, we practice inclusion, full inclusion.
Okay.
So regardless of social status, regardless of educational background,
I remember.
As long as you can do the job, New Central is an equal opportunities.
Wow, so I'm the tokenistic employment.
No, it's not tokenistic. No. You are worthy of this position. This exalted table.
Because I rang bell and I said,
yes.
Okay. All right, so let me do
that behavior is something
so let me do
you
take
would
two.
never expect from Joe and I.
No, we don't do that.
The same way you would never expect Joe and I
way.
to say the sort of things that came out of the mouth of Senator Fadahunsi.
Okay, we'll go into Senator Fadahunsi. But if this is your first time joining us to watch Breakfast Central or joining us to be a part of the Breakfast Central family, thank you for joining us. My name is Olive Emodi. To my right is the very handsome Joe Hansen. To my left is the very incredible Benga Aborowa.
Use handsome too.
No, handsome is Hansen. Hansen.
Use handsome.
Okay. To my right is the very handsome Joe Hansen. To my left is the very handsome Benga Aborowa. Together, the three of us make up the Avengers of national and international television.
Okay.
Because our fans, they're watching us live from Ghana.
I can see it.
From Australia, Ghana, Australia, America, London, our fans,
From Kigali,
Rwanda,
Bujumbura,
South Africa, Bloemfontein, Joburg, Sokoto,
and the
in Nigeria.
Mount Everest and Mount Kilimanjaro.
I believe you, my brother. I believe you. Good morning. Welcome. Well, how was your night rest? Was it good? Was it fantastic? Benga, you were supposed to be in Osun State this morning. What happened?
Joe, what's your mission with Olive?
Because you need to go and interview Senator Fadahunsi.
I didn't come around. You guys had
we
peace
understand
of mind.
that you are doing mechanic.
You were
mechanic.
Yes, was mechanic.
Bamidele says, good morning, Yaologi, and Babaologi is...
Speak for yourself. Olive is young. I don't know about that.
Well,
we have nothing to do with Ogi. Even though Johansson likes Ogi and oats. So if you ever want a gift,
and Akara.
See, I'm not that expensive. Just
oats and Ogi.
Ogi.
Yeah, it will do.
Fine.
Well, okay. Unfortunately,
some good news though for my co-panelists and anchors. If you ever think of living outside Lagos, maybe New Central, who knows, the way we're going, our trajectory is, is like that. Elon Musk, shooting up.
Wow.
And our MD is Mr. Talk and Do. He's a performer. So if he's watching this, there's nothing that is in trend that we don't have. Is it electric vehicle? We have. Is it... We might be the trendsetters. Is it private jet? We can. Why not? Why can't we have...
Please, 5 years since you come and investigate us. Don't have private jet too.
We can have. I'm saying it's a dream.
Okay.
Learn to dream big. Don't be having pipeline dream. Let your dream come out of the pipeline.
Is the Yaologi? That's
no, exactly. That's what you expect.
So
the good news is
what is the good news?
Ebonyi State Assembly has passed a bill regulating scrap trade, rents, and agent fees. So it's good news for
no more
job hunters. Yeah, I mean for house hunters.
So my question is, beyond making policies, and it would be great to have that as a proper conversation and getting a rep from Ebonyi State, what would the applicability of that be like? So for people who are house hunting, because here in Lagos, they say 2 years rent is not allowed, but there are certain places that only collect 2 years rent, and they will collect 10% agency, 10% service charge, and all these other dues. And if you don't want to pay because the law says somebody else is standing by to pay. So that's a great step in the right direction. I think it's the applicability of that that will then let me know, if we're being serious.
So do you mind living in Abakaliki?
Ogwashuku is better.
Okay.
Yeah, Ogwashuku.
New Central Jet doesn't go around that side, so that you will not hear boom.
Okay. Please, if we should just leave Ogwashuku and I just hear boom conversation.
How did they say it?
Our plane, our plane just did go. I don't know who made it our plane, our collective plane. So we just hear boom.
You funny until you are inside the plane and for real, you are the one that heard boom. May you not hear boom inside your plane.
I mean, our hearts are with you. Thank God that no lives.
But I mean, that's why we can laugh and look at the light side of it.
When you interview some people on the road and then we just hear boom.
And you don't expect that response. So he's become a meme.
Are we ready for work?
Remembered forever and ever.
Are we ready for work now?
I mean, yes, we're ready for work now.
Okay.
We've warmed up. We've done calisthenics.
Let's get into the cardio
movements.
That's what it looks like. Those people that used to wear white gloves. You know, I can imagine you as a kid. You used to disturb your parents. I want to buy this. We're doing. You'll be in drama club. You'll be in music club.
You didn't like that.
Yeah, I know.
Let's get to Osun State.
From their present, you shall know their past. Yalogi.
Gwenga, are you ready for work?
Are you not the one that started this Yalogi? Okay.
Now let's start work. In the tense build-up to Saturday's Osun governorship election, a viral video showed Senator Fadahunsi allegedly urging APC supporters to kill Accord Party members during a rally in Ilesa. The remark triggered widespread condemnation, with Governor Ademola Adeleke calling it a national security threat. The Osun State Police Command swiftly invited the senator to clarify his statement. This was yesterday. We talked about this yesterday morning. The Osun State Police Command described it as potentially threatening. They should remove that potentially. Threatening, inciting, and intimidating. The senator honored, you can see the video here of him honoring the police invitation at the State Criminal Investigation Department in Osogbo, and was released after questioning. He later defended himself, saying his words, I mean, this was even before the police, to be fair. He said his words were metaphorical, urging APC supporters to kill Accord with votes, not violence. But the incident has raised serious concerns about political rhetoric and the safety of opposition supporters, as well as the credibility of the electoral process. I know Tokam. Did I not say it? Did we not say it, Joe? At the end of the day, it's not about police giving optics and saying, come and answer. It's what happens thereafter.
It's actions for consequences.
Let's listen.
Have you ever seen me carrying thugs up and down? You come to my house freely. You are here now. Where are the thugs? Where are the killer squad? The one they are talking about is a policeman is doing his work.
My name is DIG Isiaq Mohammed. I'm in charge of Department of Training and Development. The Inspector General of Police have detailed me to come over to Osun and take charge of the security architecture to ensure that we have credible election in Osun State. So far, so good. There has been good deployment to stabilize the state, and we are also expecting a handful of officers to be coming by tomorrow, who are also going to be deployed. We just have a meeting with other security agencies who are members of ISIS, and we have discussed, we have strategized, and we are ready for the election come Saturday.
All right, so let's talk about, the Saturday itself, I mean, the election day. How, let's talk about, in terms of, manning the polling units, how ready is the security agencies? Like you just said, now you had meetings with different parastatals, different agencies. How ready are these agencies to ensure that different polling units are fully manned and to ensure that there won't be any, creepy activities?
As we all know, by the Electoral Act, the police are saddled with responsibility of providing security during the election. And we are also to be supported by the military, the DSS, the civil defense, and all other security agencies. So we had a meeting, and we have been assured that they are going to bring all their men and deploy them. And all this deployment is going to be done through the Nigerian police.
On the spray book everywhere. bombs I fẹ́ gun bombs yẹn báyìí ìgbà tá à ń bọ̀ lánàá pé Ọlọ́run ló tẹ̀yẹ pé kí wọ́n sáré bọ́ sẹ́yìn àìbọ́ sẹ́yìn báyìí yóò bá ti kú dànù ni Ọlọ́run ló yọ wá o.
ẹsẹ̀ kan ọ̀run ló wà báyìí o ìyẹn dírẹ́fà yẹn.
And the plot thickens. Tomorrow, well, in 2 days, is the 15th of August, and Osun citizens will be heading to polls to vote who their preferred candidate is. 14 contenders contending for one spot, the governorship. That's the main one. Of course, there are other spots, but there are 14 of them. There are 3 main contenders, and so far the fight is mainly now between the APC and the Accord Party. Yesterday, we had 2 representatives from the APC and the Accord Party who were speaking about what the reality is. Both parties have thrown blames to each other regarding the killings that have happened. There have been, I mean, it's wild to see that there have been killings, and people are boldly saying, how many of our members were killed in 2026? But we will share our thoughts on this. Head to YouTube where we're streaming live, News Central TV Live, to share your thoughts on the elections in Osun State. Let's quickly, for a bit, head to Zambia and see, because they have elections as well. The president was set to vote this morning in Zambia. Let's see if they are going at each other's necks the way we seem to be doing here in Nigeria. We have our correspondent, Bongani Siziba, who's joining us live from Zambia. Good morning, Bongani. How are the elections going on there?
Morning, Olive, and also our NC viewers. Yes, I'm in Zambia, and the weather is a bit chilly, but however, it didn't stop Zambians to come out in their numbers, especially the youths, just to cast their vote. And we are here around 4 a.m. and already it was 4. And where we are here, we understand that is where the president, Hakainde Hichilema, is going to be voting at this school. So we are waiting for him just to arrive, but we have seen dignitaries, or rather ministers, also coming in just to cast their votes. But like you said, that the contest is between 3 candidates, but mainly 2 candidates, that is President Hakainde Hichilema and also Brian, I forgot the surname, but I'll look into it, who is also a contender. I've been speaking to the youths on the line and asking them, most of them telling me that they are looking forward to change because the economic hardships that Zambians are facing, many of them also hailing the president of Hakainde Hichilema, saying that he has done his best, and 5 years, it's not that long to reform everything in Zambia. But let me just try to speak to some Zambians on the queue, if they could speak to me. Good morning, sir. How are you?
Morning, madam.
Thank you. You are on the queue, and I'm seeing youths mostly. Why do you think the youths are coming out like this?
I think they're just, wants to contribute to the, well-being of their country. I think we just want to contribute.
And you, as a citizen,
I don't want somebody else to choose for me. I'd rather, I think, wake up and vote and make that decision instead of, because when I don't vote, somebody else makes the decision for me. I'd rather I make the decision myself.
What kind of leadership are you looking forward to?
Somebody, I don't want to make mention who I'm voting for.
Mention names, but
economic development, very important. Yeah, somebody who won't just concentrate on borrowing. Obviously, we're coming from a situation where previous governments obviously overborrowed, and at some points, 2020, we even defaulted on our borrowings. We're coming back from a dead economy, obviously revived now, and for me, I'm just looking forward to continued economic development. That's it.
Let me try to speak to ladies. Maybe they can speak to me. Hello, Mama. How are you? I'm good. You're on the queue to vote today. What are you voting for? Not the person per se, but what would you want to see as a citizen when it comes to leadership?
I'll speak in Bemba or Nyanja.
Unfortunately, I won't be able to translate. Okay, can I speak to you, sir?
Hi, how are you?
Yes, you are in the queue going to vote. What are you looking forward to as a youth? And what are some of the challenges that Zambia is facing as of now?
Okay, what I'm voting for is for continuity. I feel that the trajectory we are on is the right one. So I feel giving the current leadership a chance is the right way.
Olive, you can hear mixed views. Some are voting for change. Some are saying that the current leadership should be given a chance. So Zambians have come out in their numbers to vote. So we'll move from this polling station once the president has voted. Then we move to other polling stations just to see how Zambians are voting today, Olive.
Very much for joining us this morning and bringing us update from Zambia. Just to confirm, are there any incidences of people killing themselves during the elections because they're trying to establish authority or dominance of their political party?
Ballot snatching.
Putting the pictures of their candidates on bread and bags of rice to share at the polling unit in Zambia? Bongani, my question is, there have been some incidences I want to point out, and I'd like to find out if we can see that in Zambia. Are people putting the faces of their political choices on bags, on bags of rice, on bread, and sharing to the masses? Are they, trying to convince them to vote for them with money? Also, have people been killed in the course or in the running to the elections?
The question, I think my network was a bit shaky.
Unfortunately, we'll try to come back to you later, Bongani Siziba, but thank you for bringing us updates regarding the elections. It's a contest between two very important parties. We have Hakainde Hichilema, who, of course, defeated Edgar Lungu. Unfortunately, both families, there's been a lot of rivalry
over the dead
body. Yeah, but his opponent, Brian Mundubile, has said that his running mate was a spokesperson for Edgar Lungu and had said they promised that they'll bring back his body and give him a befitting burial in Zambia. And Zambians, of course, are very...
It's a huge campaign point.
Yes, it is a huge campaign point. They are very particular about the fact that even though this person is dead, the dead should be treated with some measure of dignity and respect. But you can see there, it's not us. You saw it. Everybody on the queue.
Calm, peaceful atmosphere.
It didn't feel like war. Maybe it's because it's cold, right?
No. It's not because
it's the people. It
is what it is.
And it's the politicians that set the tone. I mean, you can't have politicians make inflammatory statements and then the people won't act the script that the politicians have laid down. So we need to hold our politicians responsible. They need to act to higher standards. Just look at Zambia.
Look at, the problem right here. This is a country that Nigeria claims to be a giant over. Exactly. Just look at how everyone is conducting him or herself. While we're watching, we said it here in the studio that the young man there said to the camera that I don't want anybody to choose for me. I come out to choose for myself.
And when you don't vote, when you don't come out to vote, that's what happens. They choose for you. Voter apathy.
Bottom line, Olive, even though our correspondent couldn't hear us clearly, our correspondent, look at the wee hours. I mean, it was early hours.
4 a.m. Bongani said
4 a.m. Look at how they comported themselves.
No pushing, no shoving.
Lined up, both the young, the old. Look at just look at what you see on the screen there. Is this Nigeria?
No show and votes.
No bread, no bread. No somebody shouting, if you come out, we'll kill you, we'll unalive you. What are you doing there? No toggery. Look at the people. Look at.
Same Africa.
Honestly, I'm very, Africa. I really want us, we'll connect with Bongani before the end of the show because she needs to answer that question.
Olive, look at.
Olive, we know the answer to that question. But let's hear it from the Osun.
Let's hear it from the Osun.
Yes, so that it will give it that tag of authenticity.
The kind of politics and elections that we run in Nigeria is baffling, to put it mildly.
You should.
And very heartbreaking that elections now seem to be war. It's a do-or-die affair. And you would ask why this happens. It's, of course, because politics is it's like a get-rich-quick scheme. People go there to amass incredible amounts of wealth.
And until we change the foundation and the very system of it, it will continue to be the same, because we might have a few brilliant individuals that want to do the work.
But how much change can they effect?
Exactly, because you'd only be scratching the surface. So it's a system overhaul we need. We need to make politics less attractive, and we need to scrutinize the quality of individuals that are running for office in this country. Until that, and also the Nigerian people, the ordinary Nigerians, need to have a mindset change, because a lot of us is garbage in, garbage out, until a critical mass of Nigerians mean well for this country and act exceptionally well and law-abiding. Will continue to get the crop of politicians we have, because they're not from Mars, they're not from Uranus, they are Nigerians, and we will pick from this lot. So if we improve the lot and have less bad apples, we would always pick good apples.
So let's come back to Senator Fadahunsi. We have not forgotten at all. Senator Fadahunsi made insightful statements regarding killing, and saying that certain people should be killed. And when he was being, of course, confronted about it, he said what he meant was kill them with votes. And then he went
speaking metaphorically.
Yeah, it was being metaphorical.
I want to ask a question. I mean, permit me. The last time I remember, it was, the only word I remember was kill them with love. I remember a song, Love is Wicked.
Brick and Lace.
Brick and Lace. And then I heard Head's Eye, killing me till, remember the Head's Eye.
Killing me till.
Then there's also Killing Me Softly by the Fugees.
So which one is kill with votes? How do you kill?
Let's actually.
This is the mind of a genius.
So the question now is, what did Senator Fadahunsi go and do with the Nigerian police? What was that 2-hour time slot for? Because if you can outrightly call, because the truth is, today on TV, one of us can just say, you know what, if you don't vote this political party, anyone not voting this political party, kill them. And before we even finish saying it, DSS will be waiting for us outside the studio. Then we can now go back and say, no, we didn't mean kill them. We meant kill them with your votes. Love. Kill them with enthusiasm.
We were metaphorical.
We were metaphorical. Yeah. Why are we...
I mean, I think it's a collective insult. It's an insult on our collective intelligence in the first place. For using his two excuses. It was metaphorically speaking. And then I wonder what happened to the AI excuse he gave. I mean, it's sad, and it makes a mockery of the Nigerian police as an institution, because you're not leading by example. And this is why people say the rule of strong men will be the bane of our democracy and not strong institutions. Because institutions, that's why Lady Justice has a blindfold. You should be blind to, your social status, should be blind to your religion or who you are. And, justice should be served by the letter. It was obvious that in the middle of election season, it was inciting violence, and there should be consequences for that. But now that the Osun State Command of the Nigerian Police has said, bow and go, maybe the Senate, the Nigerian Senate, is...
No. So the truth is, what is happening?
It doesn't behove on the Senate to actually call one who has committed crimes.
Exactly. It's the police. It's the work of the police.
Constitution. The Senate does not enforce arrests. The Senate does not enforce or arrest you and pick you up. That's why you have what we call the DSS. You have the police. So if somebody has made an insightful and hateful
threat to the peace of the country,
a threat to life, and you feel, the annoying thing is, why we call it annoying is that we are starting to look at people break laws, and it's obvious that nothing will be done to them. As a journalist, you would write these stories, and why I say it's annoying, please let me clarify that so that you can get the point I'm coming from. You will write a story. We've been here on the morning show. We've been doing this for close to 5-6 years. And you recall that you will take some stories for instance, a young man that was killed, NYSC, where, a security agent got into his room and shot and killed him. You won't hear of swift action, judgment being done, or sometimes you see how swift reactions will be taken. Mm-hmm. Actions will be taken immediately. You will see someone who possibly just was accused and has been locked up in prison. Many of them, they'll say, oh, I was just locked up. They were not given the opportunity.
Innocent
They were not
people.
invited
Innocent
like
people.
this.
Yeah.
They were not invited like this to come and say, okay. So the point, where am I going with this? Are we saying that the laws, like someone said, there are two types of laws that we have? Can that be true? The one that applies to everybody, or maybe the one that applies to just a select few? I mean, it's not right. The precedent we're setting, again, is going to eat us up in the future, starting from today. The precedence of, I can do as I like,
I mean, just
and nothing will
look
happen.
at the Aerofa example. For example, I mean, his bail conditions, it will take, I don't know how he's going to meet up those bail conditions. And he made inciting statements.
In all of these things,
of tapping the National Security Advisor's phone. And then you have this one, on the other hand, in the middle of election season, threatening to kill people.
There's another one who has come out.
It's just bow and go.
Another person has come out yesterday. Another regarded monarch, as it were. And glaringly in the video, recorded, he said, if you know you're not going to vote for the APC, don't even come out across the gutter. If not, we are going to.
I mean, what language on becoming of a royal father? Can
you see what we're saying here? By the time one person does it, nothing happens. Another one does it, nothing happens. Another one does it, nothing happens. Another one does it, nothing happens. It now becomes, look at Zambia. Are we not shamed? It's a shame.
Okay. So my question, I asked this question yesterday, and I need to ask it again. If someone brazenly comes out on national television, comes out to the world, if a politician in our country, Nigeria, can come out and say that people should be killed, and later come out to justify it, to say that he meant that people should be killed with votes. If this same politician was invited by the police and released after a while, why is Nnamdi Kanu still in custody? What did Nnamdi Kanu say and do? And I'm saying this because we shouldn't have different set of laws and different set of rules for different people. If you say that someone is inciting a certain group of people against another group of people, first of all, that is a crime in itself. Our election laws forbid that anyone incites one group of people against another. We don't make examples, and I'm going to write on the backs of what my colleagues have said. We don't make examples of people. In Nigeria, actions typically don't have consequences. And when actions don't have consequences, what we'll then see is a repetition. And with the repetition over and over again, we are establishing culture. Culture isn't often, before it is handed down from generation to generation, it is what a group of people started to do. One person does it, two people do it. Before you know, a number of people do it. They don't even know why they're doing it. It just becomes a normal, regular way of life. If you put an animal, you bind an animal for a long time, or you put it in a cage, even when you open the cage, chances are the animal will stay there because it has become used to that. And if you bring another animal and drop it there, chances are, because it's seen the way this animal has been in a corner, it will mimic and emulate that character. I know there have been scientific tests or some scientific experiments to prove this scenario that I've just shared. And that is what we're doing with our politicians, with Nigerian citizens. One person does something, we let it go, we give them a pat on the back. Somebody says, Shinedu, Iyashukudi, don't come out to vote. We tell them, it's a joke, don't take it seriously. Before you know, it becomes the norm when it's time for elections.
Doing it now?
Many people come out and say a certain tribe should not come out to vote, that you look a certain tribe. Last election, CME shared her experience, and she's one of many. And she said that at Poly Unit, they were telling her, you look Igbo. You look Igbo, you will not vote. You can't vote. So there are many people that have shared it, that came out to share their experiences on social media. And the reason why this happened is because we did not make scapegoat of these people who have then now come to institute a system that allows or that restricts people from participating in elections. It's a shame. Many Nigerians are not surprised by what has happened. We want the police to speak. I haven't heard from the police regarding this. We would like to know what the details of that conversation was and what the next steps are.
The next steps.
The details was that he told them it was metaphorically speaking.
This morning, we could play devil's advocate. The APC has come out to say, let the police deal with the matter. If the police find it to be offensive and unlawful and against the law, that the police should actually go ahead and carry out their actions. This morning, as we speak, those who spoke highly and critically of the cardinals have not posted anything, and it's past 48 hours. Wow. This morning, as we speak, we are seeing another person who has followed suit in what Senator Fadahunsi had said, and another person has come out to say the same thing, similar thing, that don't come out. If you come out, this is what you would see. So there's a lot happening, and this is just a preparation. This is just, for, as far as we're concerned, this is a test drive, looking into what will happen come January 2027. And Nigerians are asking many questions. This morning, as we speak, INEC has also not said anything, because INEC also has its laws that governs the way they operate. We're expecting that INEC too will come out, put a lot of statements.
Yeah, set the tone. Make politicians be responsible. Yeah, appeal to them.
And that. Exactly. So a lot is going wrong. A lot is going wrong. And as journalists, I mean, we have our colleagues who are there on ground covering this election, covering the build-up. And a lot of interviews have been had. People have been interviewed, questions have been asked, and everyone is reacting quite differently. Everyone is saying different things at the same time. People are worried, they're skeptical. What will happen come Saturday? Just yesterday, the governors representing the APC, the council spearheaded to ensure that the APC candidate Ambo wins this election, arrived in Osun State. That's the image you could see there. I mean, forgive us for not being clear, but these are the governors who have arrived, even members of the APC.
I guess those governors have solved all the pressing issues in the state.
Yeah.
For them to make time out to travel all the way to Osun State.
I'm very sure
there's no single problem in their state.
Anyway, let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly this morning on Breakfast Central. If you just tuned in, we're streaming live. You could drop a comment or two and let us know what your thoughts are concerning the recent issues affecting Osun State Guba election. Guba polls.
Just to mention why, as disappointed as we are, the police has said the matter is not yet over, that he's just been granted an administrative bail pending the continuation. It's just because this is too close to the elections and there's a fear that this is going to be swept up under the carpet after the election. So yes, it's an administrative bill that's been granted. The case still continues, they say. But yes, please go ahead.
Let's see what Nigerians are saying very quickly. On X, was anyone really expecting the police to do anything with the case until we hold national referendum to restructure Nigeria and limit the president's influence over certain institutions who will keep going round in circles? The president has too much influence over institutions that are supposed to operate independently, and that is a major problem. That's what Scoot says. Sirich says, why was he not detained till after the election? I have seen another APC chieftain spewing another subhuman threat. How can we be progressive in a retrogressive society? That's a powerful question. He's an APC, he's in APC now. What do you expect? He only went there to take pictures to show that he honored the invite. Nothing else. TNT says he's a senator. If a poor man makes that statement, he must sleep inside the police station. That's exactly what we've said. The difference when it comes to application.
They'll pick him up on a Friday. He'll do a happy weekend.
He'll do a happy weekend there till Tuesday and come back. Let's believe the police have done the correction. If the election goes south, both the police and this man should be held accountable by the law. That's what, I mean, you can just get a glimpse of what Nigerians are saying and what they feel and think about the current situation.
All right, I want to head to YouTube as well, take a few comments on YouTube before we head to our next story. YouTube is buzzing this morning. Good morning to all our YouTube audience. Regarding the question I was asking Bongani Siziba about Zambia, Michael Zu says, Olive, please forget your question. The responsible campaigns and violence are only seen in Nigeria, nowhere else in the continent. Well, it's not just Nigeria, but we can't be, we should hold ourselves to higher standards. Femi Olagunju said, good morning, News Central. Zambia's election is a good one. I don't know what is happening to the giant of Africa when it comes to election. Candidates do all sorts of things to win. It's a sorry case. And Michael Zu says, just wait for Osun on Saturday. You will see thugs being watched by police, vote buying supervised by EFCC and INEC changing results. Any of you can bet me on this. I will put 1 million naira to bet your 100K. Gbenga, do you want to bet?
No, I don't engage in gambling.
You don't do Baba Ijebu?
No, I don't do such.
Okay. Mr. Johnson says, Oliver, I beg New Central to also cover South African elections. You'll be ashamed of our politicians even more because they want to remain in power. They are changing the system, the constitution, just to suit their own position. It's a pity. Giant of Africa is a lie. We all know it, but Nigeria will be all right. Marcus McCain says all this mess in Nigeria was created by the APC government. They bring rice and spaghetti to deceive Nigeria. Femi Olanguju says, I know he will leave police custody, discharged and acquitted. This is Nigeria, my country. Well, that would be if he got to court that he will be discharged and acquitted. Marcus McCain said Senator Francis needs to be completely jailed and be removed from the Senate chamber because he doesn't deserve to be a senator in this country. Such people have nothing to offer to the country. And moving on from Zambia and all, Michael Zu says, no, I can't take that one. Frank Obute says, Lady Justice blindfold has been unveiled by the APC. Moki Chukwuemeka says, Bayo Onanuga has still not talked about the Islamic clerics who called others infidel. Could it be the fear of the North? And two more comments before we move to our next story. Nathan Emmanuel says, Moka even defended him when asked if APC should condemn what he said. He claimed the man had clarified his statement and shouldn't be condemned. So
the party can't even, save face and take a stand and speak.
Well, they've taken their stand, actually. It's just that their stand does not align with what many people...
this is indefensible. He spoke in clear terms, and he knew what he meant and the context. And he said, you're recording. He was aware that the cameras were there. So he should keep the same energy.
He should. I like this comment by Theophilus Ijoma. It says, in short, Nigeria cannot build a stable democracy where politicians speak the language of violence whenever they fear losing an election. Political opponents are not enemies to be eliminated. A dangerous precedent for 2027. If such rhetoric is tolerated now, politicians across Nigeria may conclude that violent language carries no serious consequences. Normalization of political violence when elected officials use language associated with killing political opponents. It can embolden supporters and political thugs. He then goes on to say, he said their choice. He says erosion of democratic values, elections should be contest of ideas and votes, not intimidation, threat, or violence. Fantastic.
Just to give an update as well, as the insecurity continues to worsen in Osun State ahead of the election, the IG of police has deployed the DIG to actually spearhead and manage security. So
it will be the most senior police officer there.
Yes, the most senior. This means that what we can rightly say that the IGP is very proactive. And then again, sending the DIG there, the most senior, to coordinate everything that has to do with security. All eyes will be on Osun State this weekend, like never before. Nigerians have never been so interested. That's why we mentioned that everyone is beaming their searchlight to look at what will be the outcome. Nigerians are asking questions. Is it going to be a case of, like Oli had mentioned, thuggery, when you now have the DIG, you now have the security agents, the vigilante corps have been told to stay back, stay away. Then you also have a setup where the security agents are aware of the insecurity that's already happening. So they
have intelligence briefings.
Exactly, briefing as well.
Okay, just to quickly add to that, because someone's asking, did you see any APC member being murdered? There have been claims that APC members have been murdered as well. Yesterday we talked about
the assassination attempt.
Exactly. We talked about, there's also been reports of APC chieftains, Honorable Said Oyegunju and Honorable Remi Abbas. And then there was the accusation against Senator Larry Oyewumi, who's the DG of Imole Campaign Council. So both parties have been accused. Politics is politicking, but more importantly, what is the value of the Nigerian life and the value of Nigerian votes? Let's move on to our next story, Joe.
Well, as we look forward to wrap things up on Wake Up Conversation, let's tell you that the presidential candidate of the Nigeria Democratic Congress has arrived in Edo State to attend the funeral rites of the late Archbishop Augustine Obiora Akubeze, former Archbishop of Benin City. His presence drew a large crowd at the Holy Cross Cathedral in Benin City, where the vigil, mass, and service of songs were held. His arrival was captured in a video showing him surrounded by a heavy crowd and security personnel as he made his way into the Holy Cross Cathedral for the Vigil Mass. Now, it was a moment that highlighted both the Archbishop's influence and the presidential candidate of the NDC's connection with the people. But that's not it. The story, anyway, just watch the video and we'll come back. Watch the video. Well, this video goes ahead to solidify the reason that Nigerians are indeed making it trend on X and on social media. And you may wonder, why? What's the reason? I mean, he just visited. What's special? Well, if you date back to a few months ago, the current governor of Edo State, His Excellency Okpebolo, had warned Mr. Peter Gregory not to set foot in Edo State without first getting clearance and a written permission to do so.
Meanwhile, the Nigerian Constitution guarantees freedom of movement.
So if I want to go to Abuja now, and maybe the FCT minister is, for some reason...
No, FCT minister is busy. It's Larry Olainka that you need to get clearance for.
He's busy.
What a joke.
FCT minister is on vacation, you know, by the boat, is on a yacht. He's worked so hard, Mr. Project, so he needs time to rest.
Yeah. To recuperate from what...
commission the next set of projects in November, December.
Okay. Very valuable.
Yeah, really is. Yeah, I think you have an insight into this activity. But let's not deviate from that. There you have it. That's just the story. It's trending. You could check online. You'll find that story. It goes to show one thing, that sometimes when we make statements, we have to be circumspect. We have to allow humanity. We have to allow constitution.
I mean, let's just be decent human beings.
Let's just be decent for once. I cannot tell Benga, oh, if you can't come to VI because you must get clearance from me. Come on, even if I'm the mayor, as it were, we don't have that here, but if I were the mayor of Victoria Island, for goodness sakes.
I mean, you don't need to like it person,
you're a criminal.
But there are people that don't like each other, but they work together. You don't need to be friends, but you can work together as decent human beings.
I mean, look at Mayor Mamdani and Trump. Trump has said many terrible things about the mayor of New York. But, I mean, at the point they had to sit together, he said, you know, he went to the White House, honored his invitation, and they had a good one. He said, I like your fighting spirit. And, you know, they respected each other. It was a decent conversation.
Do your job.
So politics shouldn't be do or die. We should have the sort of healthy competition. Oh, look at what these people are doing. They launch BRT. No, we're going to do this, not harmful rhetorics and divisive statements.
Just like what we see.
I expect better from our politics.
Just like what we see Governor Alex Oti trying to do. You know, this reminds me, as we're wrapping things up, just imagine the President of the United States running for a 4th term, and then he's sharing rice and gari and granite. And then some boys are coming out and saying, don't come out to vote. If you come out, we'll deal with you. My people.
It's a sad reality.
Really sad.
Let's move. We move. I mean, don't get me wrong. The United States, they send you parcels. They send you packages. They do that. They send you parcels, boxes. You open it. You see a lot. You see Trump. The last one, it was sent to people. I have a friend who received. They sent him little things here and there, thanking him, cards, a little mail box here and there. It's done, but it's done in a decent... This one, they are giving you and they're saying you should swear oath.
Or one woman is wearing glasses and frowning and just no...
If you collect our rights...
No emotions, nothing.
Even the person is really
if you collect our rights...
Ekiti State, they were throwing bread at people.
They were throwing bread. They were stoning, not throwing, they were stoning them with bread. Like Olive, eat bread. Olive too.
That we learn to have respect for ourselves. Right to dignity of human beings.
Dehumanization.
It's one of the most
like I'll stone you bread
rights.
tomorrow morning. I have to stone you.
Please, let's go and
let's go and eat bread.
Yahoo.
Let's check out our top stories this morning on Breakfast Central. This morning on Breakfast Central, we'll look at Osun polls. Observers assess preparedness before polls. Yes, it's just 2 days to go. Assessing Nigeria's political landscape ahead of 2027 elections. We're starting with Osun State and then look into the future, a few months away. Senator Fadahunsi visits Osun Police Headquarters over threatening comments. And untold stories of traffic hawkers, I bet you want to know. They're not just hawking, but they have their own story to tell. The newspaper front pages too, and a whole lot. So stick around. We have a full show for you.
With just days to the Osun governorship election, attention is shifting to the preparedness of the Electoral Commission, political parties and security agencies ahead of Saturday's vote. INEC says preparations are on course with observers expected to scrutinize logistics, voter accreditation, beavers deployment, result management, and the overall conduct of officials.
But concerns remain over security, vote buying, and the credibility of the process. The Imole Campaign Council of Governor Ademola Adeleke has also written to INEC raising allegations involving APC chieftains and the handling of sensitive electoral materials and logistics. The allegation is one that requires clarification from the relevant authorities and should not be treated as established fact. Yesterday here on Breakfast Central, we did speak through our correspondent, Omolola Ololade, with an INEC representative who actually said such is not the reality. Anyway, joining us to look into the elections, we will be discussing with the Executive Director of Center for Journalism, Innovation and Development, Dubawa Akintunde Babatunde. Akintunde, thank you so much for being here with us.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
It's very key that we look at this from a journalistic point of view. So many stories have come out, and we're going to start off this morning by looking at what the headlines are saying, what it means for Nigerian journalists, and what it means for the consumers, those who are reading these stories, especially the ones that are not just in Nigeria, but outside the shores of Nigeria. So let me start by asking, from what you've observed, do you think that as journalists cover this particular election in Osun State, the stories emanating from there will be one that will either affect Nigeria's national elections come January going forward, or will be one that will help us understand better how we can deal with the current situation?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think that the current atmosphere is very tense, and I think it's understandable. First, if we look at the historical realities of Osun State, where it's coming from, and also because this is an off-cycle election, the only major election that's leading us to 2027 in a few months. And also because of the stakes in Osun State. Even if you look at why we are even having an election in Osun State at this time of the year, you would understand that the historical realities, from the former governor Ladunso Yoinlola and and up until where we have here back in 2010, we would understand that it's a very interesting election. But back to the question about whether the work of media, during this season, whether it helps us see what is the peep into 2027. I think that the media environment, and I would try and then broaden it a little bit to the information environment, because I do think that the actors of political information in 2026, the ecosystem has widened a little bit, even to the digital sphere, and actors are even now beyond journalists, right? So everything that we consume on and about the election are no longer exclusive to the media. So we now have a lot of other actors, creators, influencers on digital platforms. We now have them actively, being a part of the discourse. And so that brings me to what it is, at Dubawa, CGID, and Premium Times, we have deployed to all the local governments. And I know that a lot of other organizations have also deployed observers, journalists to all the local governments. But the atmosphere and the very, very aggressive tone about security, about killing, sort of bring us into a challenge of access to some of these hotspots, because when we are seeing news of threats of violence and even news of death and all of those things happening in a few local governments that have been declared hotspots by independent observer groups, that brings us to the safety for journalists. Back in 2022, when we deployed observers to Osun State, 2018 and then 2022 at CGID, I can tell you some of our observers on the ground were arrested. Some of them were, held briefly by security officials that we were unable to reach them. And that meant, what that means potentially is that whatever is happening in that particular location, when we have no access to on-the-ground reporting, then nobody knows. And that definitely impact the level of access, the level of information that we can put out there. And beyond that, I think what is very interesting with what this means for 2027 general election is that the legitimacy of the process is under threat of rhetorics. By all the parties. You see different allegations of whatever this is, and this potentially would have a telling on what citizens get to feel or expect in 2027, which is also a very interesting election that we are all looking forward to. So I do think the information sphere is very broad. I think the actors are all very, they are varied, and the atmosphere, looks interesting to watch. But we are on the ground with deployment to all local governments. We have, cumulatively 70 officials within the analysis center and then on the ground who are ready to ensure that whatever is happening gets scrutinized and they reflect the realities on the ground, even from now till after the election.
All right. Thank you very much for that thorough answer. Now, as we are counting down the hours, no longer days at this point, what are some of the critical areas? And I know you've mentioned some that observers should be looking at. And what would you say is the mood that the citizens are expressing? I don't know that the last election was this contested, or this fraught with violence. But from the interactions you've had with citizens on ground, what are they saying?
It's a very interesting one. So the last election in 2022 cannot be understood if we don't think of what happened in 2018. I think that's very interesting. Those are, because the 2018 election was declared inconclusive, right? And that led to a lot of controversy, and it brought us to. So I think so. What is happening now? And it's interesting. And it's also very important for us to acknowledge that Osun State is the ancestral home of the president's family home, right? So there's a lot of stakes right in there, right? So I think it's important for us to to acknowledge that fact. And on Tuesday we had a town hall with young people from Osun State within the age of 18 and 35. And before then, we had deployed a survey just to ask young people in Osun State, about 2,000 of them. We asked them, what are they looking forward to with elections? And what strikes us very interestingly is that young people are excited about the election, but they are at the same time not impressed and not, so they are excited about the state, about participation in politics, but they are not excited about, you know, the stakes in there. So a lot of them are apprehensive. They think that there's a lot of tension. A lot of them, you know, told us at the town hall about exclusion from the process because they think the process is, you know, to even be an active participant is kind of expensive. They think it's exclusive to just select few within the elite community. And I would then broaden it back a little bit to what some of our observers have asked people on the ground about the state, and there are mixed feelings. And that's one of the very interesting things about political moment like this. Depending on where you are asking, their socioeconomic realities, their political leanings, their religious affiliations or political affiliations, and so it means you can't get, you know, objective analysis from most people. We have seen people, you know, and this was published on Premium Times just yesterday about, you know, some people who were business owners who felt like the realities of the state, you know, haven't really impressed. And we have seen people from the other side who felt like the state has also improved, right? We have seen people, and I think one of the interesting points that it's important for us is the poverty rates in the country, and the increasing inflation, cost of living crisis that has deepened, you know, and which is pretty much a national, you know, realities as a result of far too many, you know, factors. But that also, you know, affects how citizens feel, right, about government, how citizens feel about election. You know, people want jobs. People want to work, and they want Naira to be meaningful to them. People also want to vote, but they are also very apprehensive about, you know, the tension. And I think it is instructive to acknowledge yesterday's meeting of the senator for Senator Fadahunsi at the police office, you know, about the claims of violence and the attribution of such claim that was widely circulated to artificial intelligence. And that also speaks to the question of legitimacy, which rhetorical, you know, legitimacy caused by rhetorics that I think is important for us to acknowledge, because when citizens are expectant of an election that is this very contentious, and we have far too many questions of poverty, of unemployment, and then now tension with violence and hotspots in a few states, in a few local governments, then you would see that the issues are broad, and not to forget the historical realities of the state. So there's too many stakes in there, and we're watching very closely on how this pans out.
Thank you, Mr. Babatunde, for the job your organization is doing. And like you've mentioned in your submissions, there's heightened tension. And I guess it's because of this, it's why we have a highly security situation, a high security situation in the state, where the police, EFCC, and NSCDC have deployed over 25,000 of their personnel for electoral duties this weekend. And the irony is this is happening in the backdrop of where ordinary Nigerians are left at the mercy of kidnappers and insecurity in different parts of the country. But let's talk about the militarization of elections in Nigeria. From your perspective, do the people feel secure when they see those long convoys of military personnel, the police, NSCDC, security operatives carrying weapons? It's almost like they're going to war and a battle. Extended convoys. I'm talking 25,000 men for this operation on Saturday. Does it restore some type of hope and confidence in them that, look, I can come out on Saturday and vote. My government has deployed all those people to look after me. Tell us about the psyche of this heightened security in the state.
Yeah, I mean, and I think this is a very interesting point to consider. I think that for an election this tense, you know, when you look at the logic, of Nigeria's thinking about elections. This is 2026, right? So I do not think that, 25,000 security personnel for the election, I do think that's a lot. And why do I say this? There's something that comes with our problem in Nigeria with voter apathy, and we may not be able to tell, but there's a cause and effect here. When people know that, when people are already seeing, around the major cities, people are seeing, security parading everywhere. You have had incidences where security arrested some political actors. Just last week, we all know what happened with EFCC and the state government. We all know the running battle with local government funds. So there's already, and like I mentioned, the sitting governor, who is also a contender, is not in the same political party with the federal government. And there's also, so you see that the atmosphere already reeks tension. And so because the security structure is federally deployed, that leads to questions of federalization of the election. That's one tension. The second tension is what citizens feel about their safety. So when people see guns, they're going to vote. Is one vote, one person. And people see guns, or they see security parade, in their streets, it most likely, and we have seen, highly influential officials, a sitting senator allegedly calling for violence and killings of political leaders. You have seen from different, from APC to Accord to every, you see all of those allegations of violence, of whatever. You see, so the atmosphere has been so tense that number of security operatives, sent waves of fear to most citizens. And I tell you, there are people who have said that they'd rather stay home because they live to die another day. That's one very big implication. The second implication is the antecedent. What we have seen, in past election, not just in Osun State, but across most, during election, we have seen, even security, harass journalists, right? Some of our colleagues had been victims during election where they're reporting on a certain aspect of election on election day, and security officials would seize their phones, their gadgets, sometimes destroy, what they had recorded, sometimes even arrest them, for hours, right? So we have seen private citizens also face such level of harassment in the hands of security officials. So we have, and this is a country that has not even totally forgotten or healed from the End Bad Governance protest, the End SARS protest, and so you see too many realities about the action of police, of security officials. And so that means that institution now being deployed at that number for a state in Osun State like that, it brings too many questions about what citizens perceive, at that level. But I do think that it's important to acknowledge that in the logic of the deployment would be safety of the electoral process. But there are far too many ways that we can go about a free, fair, and safe election for all without military deployment. But the atmosphere, has been very, very tense. And I tell you, most people in some hotspot local governments have mentioned that they would rather
let's hope that the police force will deploy enough men to actually be at the hotspot locations that you've mentioned. And let's also hope that we would not see the worst off-cycle election conducted in a long time here in Nigeria. But we're out of time. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We look forward to speak with you again, especially as we have just 2 days to go. Thanks for your time. Thanks for joining us.
Less than 48 hours.
Yeah, absolutely. Less than 48 hours. Anyway, this is Breakfast Central. Let's tell you what's coming up next year on the morning breakfast show. We'll be analyzing untold stories of traffic workers in Nigeria, what you need to know about them. Also, we'll look at the political landscape ahead of 2027. Big conversation to look into using Osun State as, a litmus test. And then, of course, we'll talk about Fadahunsi once again. Updates on Osun State. Stay with us.
Hello and welcome back to Breakfast Central. Nigeria's political climate is heating up as Osun State prepares for its governorship elections on August 15, 2026, with over 2.3 million registered voters across 3,763 polling units. The contest pits incumbent Governor Ademola Adeleke of the Accord Party against strong challengers like Bola Oyebamiji of the APC and Najim Salam of the ADC. INEC has pledged a credible process, deploying more than 5,000 BIVAS devices and 15,000 security operatives.
But beyond Osun, the election is a microcosm of Nigeria's broader political struggles, questions of governance, accountability, and the future of democracy. The Osun election is not just about who wins. It's about whether Nigeria can deepen democratic values amid economic hardship, insecurity, and public distrust. Nationally, the conversation is also shifting towards the 2027 general elections, with candidates seeking to challenge the country's current political establishment. Now, joining us for this discussion is one of such individuals who is he's a political person by himself, calling for a revolution now. He's the person of the presidential candidate of the AAC. We have with us Mr. Ilesa in the studio. Good morning. Thank you very much for joining.
Good morning.
Thank you.
It's great to have you. We're happy to have you. Last time we had
in person,
virtually.
Yes.
So we're happy to have you in the studio.
Thank you.
You were in Osun. I will come to that shortly.
Yes.
But the conversation we started with yesterday was the statement by Senator Fadahunsi regarding the death threats, which he then said we took literally.
Yes.
And that, he meant it metaphorically. The police have invited him. They've released him on administrative bail whilst they say investigation is still ongoing. What do you make generally of the statement, of the reactions or maybe non-reactions to it by certain key persons, and how the police has handled it?
Well, he was in anything strange. We were in Osun State yesterday, and you could almost cut the atmosphere with a knife. It was tense. And any election in which the most important person is the garrison commander of a military unit is no longer a democracy. And that's what we saw in Osun State yesterday. So soldiers in their large numbers, policemen. I've probably never seen that number of armed persons except in war situation that we saw in Osun State. So what you heard from them is the reaction. And of course, he's not just saying it, they have already killed people. As of yesterday, they were still killing people in Ilesa. It's not only political warfare, it's also gang warfare, in Osun State. Most of the cult gangs are, involved. The NURTW people are there. There's a lot of weaponry in Osun State. And it was just crazy. It didn't look like we're going into an election. It looked like we're going to war. Yes.
What's at stake? Why is there so much tension? Because you look at a state like Osun, it's not like there are oil wells, it's oil producing, it's not like it has such a huge population that would, give, that can swing elections on the national level. So what's really at stake in Osun?
The Nigerian political system is oil in terms of wealth. So this is the only job you can do in Nigeria where you can become a multi-billionaire overnight is to be a governor of a state. And you just sit down there and steal allocations meant for the state, whether it comes from IGR or it comes from federal allocation. So why would you not expect people who are not going there to serve to kill to become governors? That's exactly what's at stake. It is that monthly allocation that's at stake that makes people become billionaires overnight. Their families, friends, their cronies. There's nobody except our candidate that was discussing issues. There's nobody who's discussing even a manifesto. Even the governor, the current governor of the state, wasn't saying anything. He was just saying, look, I know how to dance, and I'm going to keep dancing. Nothing more. Nobody's talking about education. We're talking about infrastructure. Apart from our candidate, who was only given 14 minutes by Arise TV when they were doing their town hall.
What was the controversy behind Sonlajide? He wasn't included in the first place.
They didn't want to include them, just like you introduced 3 candidates here this morning. You didn't introduce the most brilliant one. You said, oh, it's between 3 people. And I think that narrative must change.
No, so it's not 3 people. We always say, and we did say today, that it's between 14 candidates.
Well, I listened to you when
However,
you said,
there are 3 political candidates
that
seem to be the most popular.
If we had mentioned the 14, we'll still be on the introduction now.
No. You can say there are 14 people, and these are their political parties, because all of them are going to be equally on the ballot.
Absolutely.
So, and that's why I say the narrative is also important, so that you don't keep servicing the old order that have nothing to offer. That's my problem, and that's why I'm protesting here between the 3 of you. But nobody's going to throw tear gas here, hopefully.
No, we don't do such.
But honestly, if you look at these other guys, they have nothing to offer other than death and blood and, pain and sorrow. Nothing. I mean, an election that hasn't happened yet, over 50 people have already been killed in Osun State. And I'm talking about young people. It's not, and none of the political, candidates had their children killed. Or they're probably not in the country anyways. They probably have flown all of them out already. But the regular poor people, young people who are supposed to be the drivers of the political process are getting killed. Osun has become a killing field as we speak. We're still 2 days away from election. I mean, we were there yesterday.
And it's a sad one to note that even a sitting senator would make a statement such as, if you see them anywhere, make sure you...
But another person has also made another statement.
And another person who made the same statement yesterday.
Yeah, that
if you cross the gutter and you're not coming to vote APC, then you would get whatever comes to
They are speaking directly to what they are planning. So they are speaking power into their plan. They're throwing red meat.
You don't think it's just mere threats?
No, it's not. I mean, if it was mere threat, people would not have died.
So how do you...
People wouldn't be getting killed. They're telling, if you listen to the senator very well, he did mention it that, certain persons have been killed. They mentioned names.
Yes.
And that, we are also going to kill back. It's like, you kill us, we kill you. That's what the senator was speaking to. So that analysis was properly referenced. He didn't just say it, it's not metaphorical. He says speaking exactly to what they are doing on the ground.
But he said it's AI later on. He said it's AI.
But were you not there?
He said kill them with votes.
No. He didn't say kill them with votes.
What that he meant.
That's what he said after it became a scandal.
Okay. So now let's talk about the reaction and how that has been handled. And the fear is when people aren't punished for certain statements, we're establishing a precedent of what should be allowed, like you've referenced.
Yeah.
Someone else has made another statement. And earlier when we're speaking about it, we're asking, do different laws apply to different people? Because the question was, why are these people still roaming free if they make such insightful statements?
No, you're talking about people who make insightful statements. You're not talking about people who are actually carrying out murder.
I was going to
on
come
the ground.
To that. I was going to come to that as well.
And they are known. It's not like they don't know them. They carry out these killings broad daylight in places like Ilesa.
So,
they know them.
So how should this happen?
Even the senator mentioned some names, and people have also mentioned, if you read correctly what's happening, particularly on social media, what's happening in Osun State, names are being mentioned, location of the killers, where they go after they kill, where they hide. All of it is public knowledge.
So who is to blame?
Our security agencies, but the security agencies are working for the killers. And some of the killings are done by security agencies too. The cover-up is being done by security agencies. You see, the senator that said they're going to kill, they're just fooling everybody. So they invited him for interrogation. And he's been released on administrative bail. I don't get released on administrative bail, even though I don't kill people. They'll charge me to court, and the judge will say, go and present your bail application, adjourned till another 2 weeks.
So beyond the security situation in Osun State, we've also seen the weaponization of poverty. I mean, people are even now giving handouts attached with oaths and curses. So it's not just this case of take this, there's a condition attached to it. You attended the rally of your candidate, Osun Lajide, yesterday in Osun State. How did that go? And what was the interaction and response of the people? Because it's almost a situation of, if you can't beat them, it's best you join them.
Well, I have to tell you, I was surprised at the reception we got in Osun State from the regular people. They swarmed, because the moment I knew that they knew I was in town, everybody was like, I wasn't sure, and they came coming. But there were some of them who were sitting on the street, please, send something. They say Yoruba, I attend Konsiwa, and well, we had to start the education there. That the people that attend Konsiwa in last 4 years,
are you better
off? Look at your condition. But you see, that is the mental conditioning of the political system to make everybody believe that the only time they get any kind of support from the state, their own social security comes every 4 years during an election, and they make sure they get it. And if you don't have anything to offer, the conversation has not started. It's transactional. But I'm also seeing a lot more people who are speaking out, who are not necessarily the people who we met on the street who were asking for handout. What about the people we met who followed us to the rally? But you know that the rallies are symbolic. There's a guy that has the biggest war chest that brings more people to the rallies. And if you go to some of these rallies, it's the same people that went to APC rally that moves to PDP rally. It's, that's what they do.
Business.
They just change T-shirts.
Yes.
Anyway, for those who do not, are non-Yoruba speaking audience, can see, like put something in our hands.
Yeah,
and that unfortunately seems
send something to my account.
Exactly. That's
send something to my
hazard when it comes to elections here. But we'll go on a very quick break. When we come back, I'd like us to speak about your experience. I know that, again, they have tear gassed you. So we will take a look at the video when we come back from this break.
Hey, police! Tell your guys to go back. I'm here. No need for fight. Tell your guys to go back. I'm here. No need for fight. Tell your guys to go back. I'm here. No need for fight. Yes. Tell your guys to go back. Officer. They go. They go. Don't worry. Officer. They go. Don't worry. Now
All right.
Yeah, that's the video from yesterday. We're trying to understand what's happening, and we still have Mr. Ilesa in the studio with us. Before we went on that break, we had spoken about this, and then you had mentioned earlier about being tear gassed as well. So walk us through that.
You didn't show that part.
Yeah, we haven't shown that part,
yes.
So walk us through the journey. What happened? Because you said you had...
We're just driving through Osogbo, going to the rally ground, and I think all these policemen that were being transported from across state lines were coming in commercial buses. And at a point, they said one of our vehicles, the campaign vehicle of the candidate, was standing in their way. It was a minor traffic issue. Before you knew it, they had all jumped out and cocked their guns. So I had to come out of my car to say, look, what's wrong with you guys? Just go. And so we had a respectable conversation, as you can see from there. But as soon as we were leaving to go to our car, they had released tear gas. I think it's one of those aerosol-based tear gas. And if you watch the end, we were just coughing hard, and it was terrible. And they were wondering. We just had,
civil
conversation. In the first place, a traffic situation. You saw the guy. The moment there was a small issue, he had already brought out his AK-47 and pointed directly at our car. And, it's just the unprofessional level of their conduct.
Do you think that the police will be tested come Saturday, especially with the new IG? Because I know you were very critical of the former IG of police. I mean, you went as far as ensuring that you had every opportunity to speak about him. And now you have a new IG.
We had him removed. You know, I remember coming to Lagos in the street.
On this street, yes.
And I was declared wanted.
Yes.
And everybody here, your producers were worried how we'll make it out. But
I was asking you if you were going to submit yourself to the...
So, but see, you can't... The position of the IG is a political position. And an IG that is not loyal to the political establishment cannot stay one day in power. But, you know, I think this IG is more of a... You know, I don't want to call him cunning. You know, he knows how to hide and do the same thing that others will do by putting, you know, themselves in the... But they are all the same at the end of the day. Because if you look at the trajectory of the Osun election, he's the one who's been helping them arrest the people on the opposing side of the fence. But what is sad is, you see, one of the things about democracy is that it must be as a result of free will. The moment you have this number of policemen policing an election, the free will is gone. Because just the scene of the number of soldiers, policemen in town discourages democratic
So it's not like
progress.
it gives a sort of assurance that everything is going to be calm, a calming sort of...
No, you see, all these policemen that are going there,
25,000 security personnel.
25,000?
They are going to do exactly the bidding of what has been planned.
How are you sure about that?
Oh, you know, I mean, I participated in several elections, you know, so anybody who was born around 1979, 1983, knew what policemen, you wish to call them, that's the reason they call them kill and go. You know, the mobile police, they are there when Shagari was around, they came to help them rig election. So, and you fast forward to 2026, they have not changed.
So,
yes.
What are the biggest issues?
And it doesn't apply to the ruling party alone. You know, local government elections is the same thing. State electoral commissions are even worse than INEC, the national one.
So it's less than 48 hours to the big elections in Osun State. What are the biggest issues for the ordinary people of Osun State as we speak? Because what we're seeing play out, and also in the media, is almost like a Premier League game. These people's supporters versus those people's supporters, as Chelsea versus Arsenal or Man United, people picking sides, and no one is barely addressing the issues and the concerns of the people. What is priority for the ordinary citizens of Osun State? What do they want?
So I want to correct again that our party, the AAC, the African Action Congress candidate, is actually addressing the issues. But probably they're not getting as much airtime as the big for nothing parties are getting. The priority should have been for the people to be able to choose the best candidate in the election. And I'm sure if all the candidates were lined up, you know, had a debate, which they avoided because they have a phobia for debates, there's no way anybody could have freely chosen any of these other guys that are described as the frontline candidates. They're not frontline candidates. They are frontline transactional people. So the Osun people have already been robbed of the opportunity to decide who the best would be as a result of violence, intimidation, the political atmosphere, which is really, really tense and dangerous for free will to prevail. And that is what I saw yesterday. I went to Osun State to go and see things for myself, and I saw it. And I'm telling I'm telling all of you who are watching, oh, Nigerians have a lot of work to do, because what they are doing in Osun State is to test the ground for what will happen in 2027 or any other election that they are planning. And they are brazen about it, very brazen about it. And, you know, I'm not one of the people who will sit down here and say, well, on Saturday, you're going to have fair and fair election. If you're going to have fair and fair election on Saturday, there will be a free and fair and credible atmosphere by now.
Olajide on your party's candidate at the elections is very big on governorship, on returning leadership to the people.
Yes.
He's argued that the current administration, you know, has in some way exploited the people's challenges. Can you maybe share in what ways you believe that Governor Ademola Adeleke has exploited the people's challenges in Osun State? Because that's what...
What I saw in Adeleke's leadership is that the guy is not even in control of his government. You know, that's why I did myself some little disservice by watching him on Arise TV town hall meeting. And I'm appalled that, you know, such a character is governing a state. And what I know behind the scenes is, as you can see, that it's just subterfuge. And I heard his sister is the one running the state, and his elder brother, who is Davido's father, is also. So it's a family pretty much running the state. And but as a person, Ademola has nothing upstairs. I'm not sorry to say it.
But these are constructed over 350 kilometers of roads.
I didn't see 10 kilometers of highway in Osun State yesterday that you could claim to travel on. Maybe they constructed them somewhere else that we couldn't find. You know, by the way, I see a bag of rice. No, I'm just kidding. So nothing that I saw that showed that there's governance in the state. You know, as I usually describe it, the state capital looked like, you know, a state that just came out of war. Yeah, I mean,
but in fairness to him, he's had his local government allocation seized.
Well, it's been.
But
yeah,
you know,
exactly. I mean,
when was it seized? Maybe like how many months ago?
For a long time. For a while.
You know, there's no excuse for seizing their local government allocation. I don't support that. But he has also had time before the local government allocations were seized. And by the way, that's exactly the problem. The local government allocation is not meant for the state governor. It's meant for the local government.
Yeah, but the local governments would have done some development.
No, that's the job of the local government chairman and councillors and infrastructure, political, to use to develop the local. It's not meant for the governor. It's when you hear a governor crying about local government allocation, the governor is a thief. He's stealing from the local government.
Well, some will beg to differ because one...
No, that's what the law is very clear.
These are subnationals. If these are subsets, I mean, the local government is a subset.
There's no governor that should go and campaign to become governor of a state relying on local government allocation. That's illegal to even spend local government allocation at the state level.
So are you saying...
You can make an advocacy argument about it, that the governor should fight for the local government to get there. But it's not the governor's right to touch local government allocations.
We agree with that, of course, and that's why many have applauded the president for having ensured that there's local government autonomy.
He didn't do it. It was a political statement. We are back to where the local government autonomy was before he made the declaration. They're just trying to fool people.
Okay.
The state governments or governors still have access to local without inhibition as we speak.
If you say they still have access, don't you think if the local government is doing well, it will rub off on the governor himself? So hence,
but it's not. No. The governor has his own allocation. They have their own agenda. They have to run the state with state allocations and not local. As a matter of fact, local government are supposed to be so independent from states. They can oppose the state governor. Are you getting my point? Yeah. I'm not in any way saying that local governments funds should be seized. But local government funds don't belong to state governors, except the ones who are, of course, they've been stealing it forever.
Okay, you made mention of some of your criticism against Governor Adeleke's government. You talked about his brother and his sister running the office, even though we don't have actual evidence to substantiate that, unless you want to share that with us. But there have been some achievements that he has stated that his administration has made.
Like what?
He claimed that his government has paid over 40,000 of Osun's inherited debt. Says infrastructure deficit fell from over 80% in 2022 to about 40 to 45% by 2025-2026. Says Osun moved from 33rd to 7th nationally in WAEC NECO rankings. And that...
Payment of full salaries.
Yeah, he says that there's been a jump, and he cites as holding for both 2024 and 2025. And then even recently, he went on a courtesy visit to the Oni. The Oni applauded him, talked about the Lagere flyover.
The Oni applauds everybody that walks into his palace.
So you don't think that that's an endorsement?
The job of the palace,
But he endorsed them, as it were.
Endorsed him. The Oni will endorse anybody.
So has he endorsed your candidate too, or you didn't?
I don't go to traditional rulers for endorsement. I go to people. You know my story with all this traditional. Like the last time I went to the Oni's palace, I was tear gassed inside the palace because I refused to participate in the palace rituals. So I don't believe in traditional rulers. I think traditional rulers should stay on the cultural side of things and not get involved in politics. That is where it's the same thing I feel about religious leaders who are
come there because
yes, who are
who
have turned the Aso Rock to their revolving door. You have no business visiting the president of the country. Stay on your pulpit, speak the truth, and let your members decide, how to fight.
Okay, but the Lagere flyover has been referred to as a very key, monumental, infrastructure.
So I wanted to respond to everything you count. So, see, nobody should praise a governor for paying salaries. Are you getting my point?
Yeah, but if you look at where they were before, they used to refer to the former governor as Baba Afusa because he used to pay half salary.
I'm not in any way endorsing what used to happen before. But anybody, because there's no governor who goes into office without paying their security votes. They don't miss their annual leave. They don't even miss their own pension, which is probably the best in the world, anywhere in the world. So why is anybody praising a governor for paying salaries? What do you expect the people to, if you hire people, why won't you pay them salaries? Why would you, thank a governor for building a flyover, which is mostly corruption and money laundering projects anyway, so when you want to talk about governance, you talk about key issues. How many kids have you taken off the streets? How many kilometers of road have you really built? Not the one that you built halfway, and by the time you finish, it's been washed away by flood. How many gallons of water are you delivering to homes? Gas, electricity. How is the education system? Is it AI compliant? That's what I want to be hearing in 2026. Not somebody who will say to you, oh, like I said here one day, we have brought back environmental sanitation. And everybody's like applauding, oh my God, Lagos State government is going to close down the streets for 2 hours or 3 hours on a Saturday. And I said it's failure, but go to my Facebook page. Oh yes, that's very progressive, How can you bring back environmental sanitation in 2026? And the reason was that their environmental, sanitation system had broken down. And they didn't want to confess to the public that maybe the contractor hasn't been paid or they want to take the contract to another person. They introduced environmental sanitation in 2026 in this country.
You think it's working?
How will it work? How could environmental sanitation work in 2026? When you go to Qatar, what are they doing with waste? They're using it to generate electricity.
Waste to wealth.
There's nowhere in the world that people are asked to stop whatever they are doing so that they can throw trash into drainage.
Not stopping anybody. He clarified. He responded. We told him about your comment.
No.
And he said, no, they're not stopping anybody.
No.
There's freedom of movement.
The fact that you have to ask people to drop their trash in drainage for 3 hours every last Saturday of the month, and by the time it is an hour later, the drainage is filled up and the trash is back in front of their houses. That is the reason why partially the reason why Lagos is going underwater. Is because you don't have a drainage system that takes care of the place, which geographically is below sea level. Amsterdam is below sea level. You are supposed to have dikes. Yes. What I'm saying is that when we want to talk about governance, please don't talk about payment of salary as an achievement, or that somebody built a flyover. Or somebody gave a grinding machine or pepper, grinder.
Or they built a step.
Or they built a step. Or like the Senate president who went and, commissioned a borehole. And it's national news.
Now, Mr.
We are doing ourselves mental damage.
As we wrap up our conversation, this is for your critics. They say the African Action Congress and your person, that your politics is not realistic, is not grounded in reality. You speak of a liberation struggle, that your policies are mostly idealistic and not pragmatic, because you have a huge population of uneducated people, unemployed people, and those sorts of things don't work in the system. How do you respond to them? And if you can also, in the limited time we have, speak on your solutions to the Agbero menace that we have in Lagos.
Or the what?
The vagrants and street urchins.
Well, so
the army of
my response to your first question is that my politics is idealistic, is that you can blame me of one thing, and which I admit that I'm way ahead of my time. And in the olden days, people like me who invented things are called crazy people. The person who invented the seatbelt was called crazy because the men who had cars in that time didn't want the seatbelt to roughen their suit. But it was the greatest lifesaver. In 2019, people called me crazy because I said, instead of burning marijuana, we should be selling it because the Nigerian government said they burn over 15 trillion naira worth of. You have to be crazy to be burning 15 trillion naira revenue every year when you could just have shipped it abroad for it to become medicine. Because if you have a refinery for marijuana, I'm just using that as an example, in this country, a barrel of what they call cannabinoid oil, which is used for treatment of all kinds of things you don't have to smoke, is more valuable than a barrel of oil. Have you heard that? But what was I called crazy? Everybody said Chiwere wants to introduce weed. You understand? His fella's son that he never adopted. All kinds of things. When I said we should be paying 500,000 naira minimum wage, people said that was this year. They said I'm crazy. It's going to cause inflation. And I asked them, why is the money that is being stolen, 1 trillion naira, an average governor steals every year, cause inflation? When we said, we no longer need WAEC and all this speech, so that a governor will not come and tell you that the number of people passing WAEC is the reason he's performing. We don't need WAEC in 2026. We don't need a West African Examination Council in the era of AI. We need mass education. We need mass transportation. And when I discuss these issues, they are all laid out, by the way, in our app. Showore Now app. You can download it. You say I'm crazy. Of course, I'm crazy because I can't wait for development to come here. I have been around the world and see how the world develops, and we are lagging behind.
The other leg of Lagos.
And the other leg of Lagos, which is the Agbero menace in Lagos. You should ask who is the real Agbero in Lagos. The politicians. The biggest Agbero that Lagos produced, the biggest and the most famous Agbero that Lagos ever produced is Bola Tinubu. He's the one who set up...
That's a strong statement.
It is, I'm telling you. He's the one who set up all this Agbero you are seeing. He's the one who empowered the car parks.
To go back to what? You are still in court for calling...
I'm here to say the truth. And after the truth is said, you can all write that Showore has gone back to prison. No. And if I'm still alive, I'll be back to remind you that I told you.
How did Mr. President empower them?
There is no Agbero in this Lagos, the most famous ones, that has never been given money, given protection, and given every prestige that he had to do by Mr. Bola Tinubu, who's the president of Nigeria. So if you're talking about Agbero, don't talk about all these, street urchins. Those ones, they need employment, they need rehabilitation, they need to go to school. In 2 days, you will not find them. You can't use police to get rid of poverty because policemen themselves are poor. Some of the Agberos in Lagos are policemen in uniform. You see them, they wear slippers on top of their uniform. They extort money more than the Agberos you are talking about. They will stop you in the middle of the road and try to kill you if you don't give them money.
Just to mention, we have to state that,
I know it's getting very uncomfortable.
It does not represent our position here at Ilesa.
It doesn't have to. It represents exactly my own position.
He's the president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr.
Thank you for having us.
Always a pleasure. Have you, maybe the aftermath of the...
After I come back from prison for this one that I just said here.
They'll probably... he will be the one to tender the evidence.
But talking about street urchins, for many Nigerians, the daily hustle is more than a means of making a living. It is a determination to keep moving forward. Aside from street urchins you find on the street, let's talk about something else that you would see on the street. A new short film, On the Move, brings this reality to the screen. What reality? Well, using the lives of Lagos street hawkers to tell a broader story of survival, responsibility, and the pursuit of a better tomorrow. News Central's Placidia reports that Reactor Energy Drink and Planet Bottling Company partnered with the Ebony Life Creative Academy to bring the story of traffic hawkers to life, highlighting the resilience that defines the Nigerian spirit. Take a look.
In Lagos and across Nigeria, the streets are a workplace for thousands who wake up every day with one goal: to earn enough to get through today while hoping to build something better for tomorrow. That reality takes center stage in On the Move, a short film that follows Sadiq, a young street hawker and the sole guardian of his ailing younger sister.
It has to resonate with you. Not everyone has silver or golden spoon background, you get, so just keep doing whatever you are doing, keep pushing, things will get better.
But beyond the fictional storyline are real voices. An accompanying documentary captures the experiences of Lagos hawkers, whose everyday realities reflect the resilience of Nigerians navigating the demands of life in the city. Their stories underline a familiar Nigerian reality that pushing beyond limits is often not a choice, but a necessity.
The philosophy of reactor is pushing your limits, and we just want to reinforce that philosophy, and it's just important for people to know that they need to live a life of purpose. For instance, if you notice in the film, the main character, Sadiq, was just living. He just wants to survive, like the everyday Lagosian who is just living to survive by day. But the idea is that you need to live beyond that. Like, you need to have a life of purpose, and that is where the coach comes in to kind of make him see beyond the prevalent reality.
At the premiere of the short film and documentary at Ebony Life Place in Lagos, the message extends beyond the screen. It is a reminder that behind the traffic, the hustle, and constant movement are people carrying dreams, shouldering responsibilities, and determined to keep going.
On the Move indicates what's very, very clear for everyone, that we're always in motion. So people wake up every morning and they have a place to be. So they're always chasing a goal. For us, we want to let everyone understand that that goal is valid, and you just need to continue with the process.
Our partnership with Planet Bottling Company through Reactor has been a very wonderful run. It's a coming together of ideas, coming together of mission. Our mission at the Academy, is to contribute to the global creative sector by imparting the young generations.
After the release of our first short film last year for Reactor, we have decided, because of its successful feedback, we have decided to create another movie showcasing, the life of hawkers that everyone relates to.
From the hawker navigating Lagos traffic to the entrepreneur building from scratch, the Nigerian story is often about one thing: moving forward, even when the road is difficult, because sometimes pushing your limits begin with simply refusing to stop. In Lagos, for News Central, Placidia Ibekuni.
Very interesting reports there. Well, you can definitely depend on the producers to tell you some more stories, especially when you get to watch. In the meantime, let's get back into the news and current affairs and tell you that we'll be looking into the Osun State crisis. Senator Fadahunsi is still making the headlines, still trending, and the police are still being watched, especially by concerned citizens and Nigerians. Joining us to discuss the legal aspect of what the sitting senator had said and what it means, especially under the Nigerian constitution or the laws. We do have a legal practitioner and special advisor to Osun State Governor on boundary matters. Barrister Bukola Onifade joins us this morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Let's quickly jump into this one. How serious is the allegation against Senator Fadahunsi? He was at the police yesterday, was invited. He did show up. Videos are circulating online. He also granted an interview after he had met with the police. We're told it was 2 hours of conversation. We do not know what happened inside. But what does this mean, especially for looking at it from the legal aspect, the statement that was made?
Thank you very much. Let me use this opportunity to say big hello to Lagosians and by extension to the good people of Osun State. It is very, very unfortunate that we find ourselves in this kind of mess and situation in Nigeria and in particular Osun State. I believe that before you can be given a position of responsibility to be a national leader, there's some statements that you just by virtue of your emotion or frustrations, say to the general public. The statement credited to the sitting senator, Senator Fadahunsi, is highly criminal in nature, and if found guilty by the court of competent jurisdiction, I think the punishment is massive. And let us know this very clear, that by the section 308 of the Constitution, who protect the president and the vice president, the governor and the deputy governor, does not extend to even the Senate president, who is in the third rank of our government system in Nigeria. Now, if the senator made such a, with due respect to him, a reckless and a criminal statement, I think by now he should be charged to court. But I know the police will tell you that they are still doing their investigation, and they're after investigation, and they will try, they will say they want to charge him to court, because it's saying that kind of statement that your party should be killing another party's member, even from that particular day he made the statement to the election day, and that if you cannot find, he mentioned some names that if you cannot locate them, find them now. They have mother, they have father, they have children, they have wives. Go after their children and their wives. So it's a very weighty and a criminal, highly criminal statement. Even I've just said it, that the immunity that we are talking about does not extend to the senator. But let me say this, and let us get it clear. I can assure you all this reckless statement and a political killing and violence that is happening in Osun State, I'm about to say it, that the Nigeria police, particularly Nigeria police in Osun State, contributed massively to this crisis we are witnessing in Osun State presently. They've started this crisis all along, aiding one party, protecting them for their criminal activities, closing their eyes for their illegal activities going on in Osun State, but looking, running after and arresting, detaining, unlawful detention for another political party. So if...
Mr. Onifade, permit me to butt in there. These are very weighty allegations against the institution of the Nigerian police, and you are a legal practitioner. So do you have evidence to prove these allegations you're making against the Nigerian police force?
Yes, I will give you facts and figures. I will give you facts and figures. It's on the social media. Let me tell you, more than 65 accord members have been in detention in Kuje prison in Abuja, Nasarawa prison. Innocent people. I'm not saying those who have been arrested by accord people are all not guilty of the allegations, but I'm bold to say, and I'm telling you, that 99% of the people that are accord members that have been arrested by the police in Osun State are innocent. They are just being arrested and detained because they have affiliation with their political party, which is their court, and they are supporting Governor Ademola Adeleke. No offense, they just caught up on the frivolous petitions, and they say they are acting on, which is not tenable in law. Now, let me come to the issue of APC. And no single arrest has been made by the police. For example, let me tell you about, there's one robber from Esauke was killed up to the present moment. Even when we have written series of petitions, we have fingered some suspects to the Nigeria police. Up to this present moment, they have not arrested a single person. There is one Ezekiel in Ilobu was killed, and the guy is not the guy that killed him, that was accused of that they killed him, that killed that guy. Not only him, there are many other people, and they are working freely in Osun State as I'm speaking with you. Before now, you might have seen it on the social media where branded APC vehicle with the picture of the president of the Nigeria, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the APC governorship candidate in Osun State, Asiwaju Oyebamiji, displaying guns, shooting people, anybody with a court car, shooting them. We have number of people that was killed. We have number of people that was hospitalized. Ask the Nigeria police and the police in Osun State. They know these people. We mentioned, we wrote a petition, we mentioned their names. Up to this present moment, these people, all these suspects who perpetrated this criminal act are still working freely in Osun State. Many others. In the recent, even we are talking about the statement credited to the Senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Fadahunsi. Just about a day before yesterday, there is one Damilare Francis Enyade, who is the APC candidate for the Boripe Ifenodun Anodo Federal constituency, was threatening voters, was even threatening the city speaker of Osun State House of Assembly, Honorable Adewale Egbedu, that if he dares come out on the day of election, he will have himself to be blamed. Up to this present moment, police have not even invited him or arrested him. Even the senator that was invited, if it is a court member that was invited and questioned, I can assure you by now that a court member might have been in Abuja, if not in Prikuche or Nasarawa prison. So the police in Osun State and Nigeria are biased. I do tell them, those of them that are my friends, that the only thing that is left for your guy is just to remove their cap as a police and put on the cap of APC. So we can easily know that they belong to APC. They are seriously working to APC. And look at all these kind of things that are happening in Osun State. As at yesterday, they are still arresting, intimidating our people. And can the IG of the Nigeria will say we don't know, he's not aware. When there is one, they say IRT from Abuja, that the CP will say it does not have control, that they came from the IG, has been moving around. I've been moving around in the state, arresting innocent people of the state, of a court member, who are not committed any offense. Even the senator that we are talking about, one of his police orderly, Wemimo, who does not have any power of arrest, was the one this senator gave a jeep with some police cover. We don't even know whether those police who are following him are genuine one or not. Going around, stopping people at large and arresting them, taking them to the police station without any petition. It was the same Wemimo Solomon that stopped the commissioner for environment in Osun State and arrested him with his security details and take him to the state CID without any petition, without any complaint. And the Osun State Police Command, under the leadership of the IG, Disu, accepted the kind of nonsense, madness, irresponsibility act. How could somebody who is just an ordinary delay to a city senator be arresting people in Ilesa and be taking them to the police headquarters? I think the first question they should ask him, who is the complainer? Where is the petition? What is the offense of these people that you are just taking them? So that is the kind of lawlessness and embarrassing situation we find ourselves under the leadership of the Nigeria police and especially the police in Osun State. And you can see, you have seen in the video, you can see that there's one notorious talk of the APC who is being aided, who is being guided by the police and civil defense in Osun State, and moving around taking over garage. Well, even not minding the fact that the governor has given an order that he has suspended the activities of NRC in Osun State. And these people are still moving around. If you go to all the garages in Osun State now, you will see all of them with guns. They will
so are you saying that the Accord Party is completely innocent in all of this? Is that what you're saying?
No. If I'm saying that, I'm not being fair. I'm not saying Accord Party are 100% innocent. Yes, we can have bad acts among us. I'm not disputing that fact. But this question is this: the police must balance their operation. You cannot close your eyes in one criminal act and be pursuing innocent people. If you say you see anyone who has committed one criminal offense or the other in the court party, we are not saying you should not arrest them. We are for peace and we must uphold the rule of law. But when you close your eyes and you are not arresting criminal in APC, you are just arresting innocent people in a court, people will be agitated. It is you and me that we have one kind of level of exposure and education that we know we cannot take law into our hands. That if we are agitated, if any injustice has been meted on us, we can approach legal means to resolve that crisis or to fight for our rights. But ordinary people on the street who are not educated, I'm not saying every criminal. I know we have some criminal-minded, educated set of people, but by and large, we have many who are not educated. When somebody who has not committed any offense is being arrested, detained, remanded in prison.
All right, we have less than. We actually have less than.
How do you want him to behave? How do you want him to look at the police?
All right, we actually have less than 48 hours.
They want to revenge and do their own wish.
The police has been put on the spotlight. Law enforcement agents in Osun State have been put on the front burner. We have less than 48 hours to the elections, and we'll be monitoring what the updates are. Thank you so much for your time with us this morning. We look forward to speaking with you again during the elections.
They have not changed. They have not changed the attitude. Even I've not seen the difference between the former Ibrahim Gota and this present one.
All right.
They are still carrying the same activities.
But the world is watching. The one thing we know is that the whole of Nigeria is watching. The world is watching. Thank you so much for your time with us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. And just to mention, we have to give a right of response as well to the police, and we're going to do that in the course of our programming today with what you've alleged and stated. And we'll also look forward to do that tomorrow. So there must be a balance in your claims. We'll go to a quick break. When we come back, we'll take you into more stories here on Breakfast Central. Stay with us.
Hello, welcome back to Breakfast Central. It's now time for us to switch conversations from politics into something different. Yes, that also affects your well-being. As healthcare costs rise and access to quality medical care remains a major concern for Nigerians, the conversation around global healthcare and its impact on the country's economy is gaining importance. Joining us to discuss making global healthcare work for Nigerians is the CEO of Axamansard Health, Mr. Tope Adeniyi, as we examine whether true health really guarantees healthcare access and the common mistakes affluent families make when planning for their daily needs. Well, welcome to you, Mr. Adeniyi, and thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you for having me this morning.
Thank
you.
It's
great to have you. All right, so there's this global perception about healthcare, and everyone's talking about how in Nigeria, for example, there's a conversation about access to healthcare. People don't have health insurance. People can't afford health insurance. Your company is a key leader in ensuring that health insurance is affordable and available to Nigerians. So how much progress would you say we've made so far in terms of how we've embraced the concept of health insurance?
Thank you very much. I think this is a very important topic in ensuring we have access to healthcare, structured healthcare in Nigeria. As you may remember, Nigeria Health Insurance Scheme started about 1999, but the adoption was slow until recent years, and thanks to NHIA, National Health Insurance Authority, for their drive for universal health coverage. And that is increasing coverage as I speak. We are now crossed overall over 20 million people for the first time in many, many years.
Yay, that's wonderful.
How many again?
Over 20 million people. That's me.
And growing.
Social health insurance, private health insurance, the central authority insurance, and all together over 20 million people. And of course, that's just less than 10% of Nigeria, which means that there's still a long way to go. So what AXA does, Axamansard Health, is to continue to play to ensure affordability, access, and inclusion. So in the way we have done it is to make sure that there is healthcare for every segment of the society. We do healthcare for the middle class, for the upper middle class, lower middle class, as well as every person, ordinary person in Nigeria. You have access to healthcare in a structured manner through health insurance. And you know that without health insurance, you will not be able to get a lot of people enrolled in proper healthcare system. In all over the world, it's health insurance that help you to jump, to be able to have more access to healthcare. And that's why Nigeria is on that path. And we're driving inclusions. We want to make sure that in the next couple of years, you can have over 100 million Nigerians covered in healthcare insurance. And the way it works, once we are able to cover, as we have gotten a milestone as an industry of 20 million, it will take us fewer years to get to 50 million. And then it takes us fewer years to get 100 million. That's why you have the commitment of companies like ours to we work together with government, with private institutions, with the press, with media, to ensure awareness, to continue to drive, adoption of, health insurance and make it remain affordable, accessible, and high quality.
Brilliant.
Interesting. There's this belief that wealth actually equals medical access. The more money you have, the more access you have to medical services. Do you think this is a misconception, especially looking at what is obtainable today?
Of course, you know that people say health is wealth. But I would not necessarily say that wealth means health. So the challenge you might have is that you can be wealthy today and healthcare condition that is very expensive might just throw everything, on the table and everything disappears. We have had situations where people who have been sitting in money and they are very comfortable, but they just have one serious health condition and everything disappears. Now, so wealthy people, comfortable people, rich people should plan adequately for their health care. You're actually not planning well when you have not planned your health care. I know people plan how they want to give inheritance to their children. People plan how to settle their loved ones. But if you do not plan for your health care properly, that means that there's something missing, because that wealth can just disappear over a very unfavorable condition for your health care or your family. Some new discoveries in healthcare intervention now cost a lot of money. And that's why it's very important. And I share with my colleagues and friends and everyone that, look, you may be rich, but you may not be liquid at the point of healthcare needs. And what does that mean? You have your riches, they're stored in properties, they're stored in stocks, long-term assets. And so suddenly there is something that goes wrong. How do you get liquid immediately? Do you want to borrow money and it may take you a couple of days? Imagine you have a treatment that will go up 500 million naira, maybe one very complex, new intervention on cancer or something. Even when you are very rich, but you may not be liquid at that moment. I gave a second example at a time. I said, look, imagine you have an healthcare condition that requires what we call emergency medical evacuation, in where you will require an air ambulance to lift you from one point to the center of excellence. At that point, you are not very, you can't even sign a bank check. At that point, you cannot even tell somebody to help you move money. If you get cash at that time, I'm sure EFCC will chase you. That where is cash coming from at this particular point? That kind of volume of cash. So what you require is, if you have put in place structured health insurance system, like that kind of AXA, what we call IMED, which covers you, an air ambulance lifts you from that point where you are not even conscious to the next center of excellence. So even wealthy people must plan for their health care. Otherwise, it can become like your wealth is stored for nothing.
And there's sometimes you might even have that money and it can't do anything for you.
At that particular time.
I want to still explore what you've said, because I remember some time when I traveled, I don't know if this extends to traveling outside the country. Sometime, I think in 2014-ish, I went to Dubai. I was going to have a good time with family. 2 days after, I had chicken pox. It was terrible. Wow. I was so sick. And having chicken pox as an adult.
In a foreign country.
In a foreign country. It's it marred the experience of that holiday for me. So are we yet at a stage where we have insurance that covers your health even when you leave the country if you fall sick?
And that's very good, because now we have developed in Nigeria beyond just local health insurance. Like from AXA, we are a global company, but very locally present. We are listed on the stock exchange. We are very strong. We call it GLOCA, meaning that you have global competence, but you are locally present. Investment in Nigeria. And what we have done is that beyond just being a local company providing domestic health insurance, we have also provided global health insurance. So as we were traveling to Dubai, if you have AXA IMED, it's a global insurance that covers you in Nigeria, covers you in Dubai, covers you in the US, covers you in Canada, covers you in Europe, all over the world. That gives you what we call healthcare without boundary, healthcare without borders. So you have, borderless, yeah. So that gives you access without worrying yourself about what to do. And that's both emergency basis as well as elective, which means you can even elect that to say you have seen a center of excellence that is more superior and you really want to be catered for there. And that's also a good development for us because we have now made healthcare in Nigeria to become a global center. So it means that you do not need to go abroad to buy a global healthcare insurance. Right here in Nigeria, you have access to global health insurance. With AXA IMED, you actually have access to everywhere in the world. People are actually now coming also to the country to have access to, on the supply side, the hospitals. You have very structured hospitals in Nigeria, both in the north, in the south, in the east, and the west, and they are springing up and they are growing. The same way healthcare insurance is also becoming globally accessible from Nigeria. And I think it's a very great one.
I mean, my next question is just a natural follow-up to it, because what you're doing is you're bringing medical tourism to Nigeria. People don't have to travel to experience quality healthcare. And I want to speak to the sort of treatments, quality treatments you can get locally in Nigeria. You have One Health, AXA Mansard, medical centers in different parts of the country. Can you explain the initiative behind it? Is it owned by AXA Mansard, and do we expect to see, because I mean, my family and I are signed up to AXA Mansard, and the experience has been fantastic. Yes, it's been fantastic. My wife is actually working, and she can testify to it. So do we expect to see more of that spring up?
Very good, very good. And so AXA is a global organization present in 50 countries. Of course, you know about AXA. It's the top largest insurance company in the world, assets under management over $1.5 trillion US. And AXA is very strong and then is very present in Nigeria. So in Nigeria, AXA plays in all the 4 businesses. AXA plays in health insurance, AXA plays in life insurance, in P&C, and now in One Health. One Health is the hospital side, where AXA is giving, as a vertical integration, helping ordinary person to have access to high quality care. So when you are health insured, you now have access to a global standard hospital where you have access to standardized treatment protocol as if you are in any part of the world. So Nigeria has become any very great center of excellence, whether you are like in London, you are in France, or in any part of the world.
But we need more of them. I'm just lucky that the one I go to is very close to my house.
And everybody should actually embrace it. We are currently in Ikeja and in VI. Lekki is opening November 1st, and it's going to be in Abuja and all over Nigeria. It's a way to ensure for us to see that the global standards are present in Nigeria going forward. So both in health insurance as well as hospital care access, we're making sure that Nigeria becomes a center of excellence across all the spectrum of healthcare delivery. And that's a good news, actually, that we are no longer just dependent on medical tourism abroad. We're actually becoming a center where other people can come in. And yet, with healthcare insurance from Nigeria, owned by AXA, International Health Insurance, you can use these services all over the world.
That's interesting. That's interesting. I mean, a Nigerian is watching now, Nigerians are watching now. And what do you like to know? Some of them will say, yeah, what is he saying? What are they saying? These are people who are privileged, as it were, so they can get easy access to healthcare. What do you think needs to change to make not just healthcare available, but quality healthcare services available to every Nigerian?
And affordable.
And affordable. And affordable. Yes. It has to be affordable too.
I agree.
We understand it's a business, but
you know.
I agree. Actually, what made healthcare available, affordable, and accessible is health insurance. Health insurance is the proven system and structure that makes it. So if you contribute to your health insurance scheme, the premium that you pay is completely incomparable to the care you may likely access. The time you are paying the premium is comfortable for you. When you now need care, because some people will not need care at that particular moment, that's the benefit of insurance. So health insurance is what everybody must tune to. think health insurance, plan health insurance, contribute into the health insurance, both the local one, and as you also, expand your income, do a global health insurance like HIMED, which AXA also promotes, which enables you to have comprehensive cover at all time, and it does taken care of the pain of having to pay out of pocket whenever you need it. And you don't need to be sick to use healthcare access. Your health check should be annual, sometimes twice in a year. You should be able to check yourself. Health insurance gives you opportunity for that so that you are doing a lot of preventive. You don't need to be sick to have access to the good healthcare. When you, maybe your spouse, yourself, you get pregnant, you want to have children, you're already covered. So very important information for all of us is just like we think and plan for our daily meals, we should think and plan for health insurance.
Very important, really. And I will applaud your, AXA. I believe that's what is covering Joe's gym subscription.
Yeah.
Very good. Right? We find that it's beyond...
Oh, even gym.
Yes. Oh, you didn't know that.
Why didn't you tell me?
But
I need 6 packs.
First of all, manage your 1 pack.
Sometimes they even put spa as an incentive.
Yes. But I wanted to ask, have we delved into the area of therapy as well with HMOs? If not, is that something that you're looking to explore?
So, there are different therapies, and they are all parts of...
For mental health?
Yes, yes. So, there's something called EAP and general mental health. EAP is Employee Assistance Service, which is mental health, where you have to talk to a psychologist, a trained psychologist. We do that. We offer that also on our plans, and that enables you to be able to have care for people who need to talk to, a clinical psychologist to be able to take care of their mental health. This is already integrated inside the health insurance. That's why it's very important as a day-by-day thinking that you should have your health insurance card with you, both in number and physically. The reason why the physical card is also good is that just in case of emergency, you have accidents and they don't know who you are. That card, AXA card, IMED, AXA card, HMO card, everybody knows about that. They will take you to the nearest hospital. And it does not matter the kind of cover you have purchased. Once you have AXA card, it's an access to high-quality care everywhere in Nigeria and everywhere in the world.
Okay, so for people who want more information, they're looking to maybe get on the HMO train. They've just decided, you know what, this is important. How do they go? What are the next steps?
Very easy. Go to axamansard.com. You will be able to have access to all the products. Download my AXA app. You also get access to all the products. And you can call our line 0700 AXA Mansard, and you have access to everything about the product, the solutions, and now we build this from cradle onto a very high pedestal of excellence in all healthcare value chain.
Thank you so much for joining us. And just to reiterate, it's very important to have healthcare. You can go for one treatment and pay maybe it can be one that would cost you so much as 200,000-300,000. And then you have healthcare, and you know that the health insurance covers it. I will not lie, let me confess, I did it one time, I was ill. And then when I saw what it would cost me, I delayed a bit too. But then at the end of the day, I figured that even if I had gone, I don't know that the illness, the subscription would have then covered the illness. Would it have covered?
Would have covered you if you have already enrolled before.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's why I ended up now still paying out of pocket and then paying for my insurance immediately. All right.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you so much, sir,
It's been a pleasure speaking with you.
Okay.
And next time I visit the One Health, I'll tell them I know the CEO.
Okay.
Mr. Topa.
Okay. Let's go on a break. We have the newspapers to review in a moment. Please stay with us.
Thank you so much for your time. My name is...
Why don't I know how to ring the bell? I don't understand. It's time for the papers to be reviewed. And now let us bring you what the front pages are saying. And here in the studio with us is your favorite analyst, Theophilus Akatuba. Everybody's favorite analyst, so don't let them deceive you.
No, I don't know.
When you come, the day you come is the day that you're favorite.
Absolutely.
Another day, it's another person.
So
but thank you so much for joining us.
It's
but
a
let's
pleasure
go straight
to be here and
okay,
it's great to have you join us, sir.
It's a pleasure.
Very good. Let's go to the Tribune newspaper first and run through because we're almost out of time as quickly as we can. The Nigerian Tribune newspaper, front page, Osun poll. Everyone is talking about it. 48 hours to go. We have soldiers, police, NSCDC, EFCC, flawed state. That is the big story on the front page of the Tribune newspaper. Before we get into it, let's just go straight and talk about it. What are your thoughts about the Osun elections and the show of force Some say we had Omele Shawari who is wondering whether we are going to war. And there are others who say it's to guarantee the safety, security, and encourage citizens to come out.
Well, same script, same thing we've done with all up-cycle elections. There's too much focus, too much. I think we make too much drama about very simple things in this country. As far as I'm concerned, this is a repetition of what we have always done, and the tension is absolutely unnecessary. And it is my hope that the people will come out and vote and forget about all the drama, all the news headlines, and all the, the actions of politicians and the statesmen that are very disappointing. And to me, let's focus on the electorate. Let's ensure that they come out and vote for the candidate of their choice and do not pay too much attention to all the 30,000 soldiers, because they always send 33,000 policemen as if they are somewhere to be gathered to one state. I believe those figures are just psychological policing.
We saw them yesterday.
Well, 33,000 is a very huge number of policemen, and it's not easy logistically to do that. But let's give it to them. That's what they have said. Let's ensure there's a free, fair, and credible election.
Okay. I know we have the Chief Press Secretary of Osun State who will be joining us this morning to give update. I don't know if we have him yet. No, we don't. All right, we'll come back to bring updates once he joins in. Still on the front page, IGP sends DIG Mohammed to coordinate operations. INEC expresses readiness, 15 parties to participate after inclusion of SDP. So it was initially 14. We've been discussing 14 all this while. Now it's 15. Who knows what happened to SDP? Police squeeze Fadahunsi over killing comment. Those inciting violence will end up in prison at The Hague, says Hashim. Let's talk about Fadahunsi.
Yes. An elderly man has made a statement that very disappointing. A man of his caliber, I think he got carried away in that moment of emotion. And but that should not be an excuse. Everyone should recognize their throne and also recognize the influence and what their statement could cause. It was a simple statement that caused the Rwandan war. Reckless statements like this.
But so
radio, television, mail columns.
Yes.
But you're saying that, if I hear you correctly, you're saying it's just an old man that got carried away.
I think so. But you can see that it's already saying that his words were misinterpreted.
Does that take away from what he said?
I have not taken anything away. I said the statement, from my own perspective, at his age and his position, he should know better. So I feel giving it to him that it was misinterpreted, believing that what he said has more spiritual meaning than physical. I should believe that he has realized the weight of what he said.
So what you're saying, in essence, let me segue a bit. When the elections happened in 2023 and certain persons came out to say Yashukudi and Yashinedu should not come out to vote, were you in support of that, or did you think, because the police also said it was a shouldn't take it seriously?
Yes, you see, people should just be if you don't know the power of words, we throw words, and we use words a lot in our country, that I know that we're very reckless with the words. When you make a statement that has very negative impact and then you then do damage control, does not take away from the impact of what you have said.
Exactly.
The goal of the discussion is people should be circumspect. He has made the error. He has said what he said. He's defending himself or
but
trying to...
Be consequences, because if words were made on radio, television, mail columns in Rwanda in 1994, and if they were checked, we wouldn't have had the genocide. So we might look at it as child's play, but these things have serious implications.
Of course. I do not take away from that. What I'm just trying to say is that if you look at the country, words have been used. Just now we saw what's coming from the north. Reckless comments and statements by people who call themselves clerics. So those statements were even weightier than this one of a local politics in Osun.
All irresponsible.
In my own estimation, what we heard from the north is far more weightier than this local.
But some politicians don't agree. They say infidel is, Lero Lainka says he's an infidel. You talking here?
Well, those statements, very dangerous statements that could cause a lot of problems. They know what they're doing. Those statements are not being made without a calculation. They're strategic statements. But people think it's about Muslim dominating Christian. No, it's about ensuring that Christians in the north get offended. So there is a lot of things going on there. Even Christians in the South can get offended to support a cause they did not intend. So we have to be very careful in the game of the Nigerian political space. What the elderly man in Osun said is condemnable. I say he got carried away.
Carried away in a negative way. Carried away is saying
by his emotions.
Carried away is saying, don't vote for Gbenga. In fact, don't allow Gbenga come on Breakfast Central because I'm a better host than him. But saying, God forbid, kill this person because I don't align with what they're saying. It's insightful.
Exactly.
It's
the weight
that's what I'm
of
saying. It is, it's
not something you get carried away for.
Yeah, it's not. Because he said it alone does not mean that it has been carried out. He can only be guilty of it if it is.
In an atmosphere where there's been killings.
Already the conversation is enough warning for him and any other that we are outraged.
I don't agree with you.
But you cannot impugn it to be crime yet because he has not.
It is a crime. Hold on.
I'm shocked that the SSA to the presidency, they've not released any statement
over the matter. No, it's not every. See, these are political. It's not every word that somebody issues somewhere.
But when the
every statement. Can I say something?
When the cardinal spoke, about 4
let me explain. Let me explain this.
Or anytime Peter Obi makes a statement.
No, let me say this. If you look at what happened in the. I saw Moka yesterday, the spokesperson of APC. Yes. He condemned it. He condemned the statement and said the APC dissociated itself from it. So to that extent, they responded to it.
Okay, so the others, so that means anytime the others come out and speak on issues.
You see, in politics, sometimes we have I always tell people, I don't want Nigerians to be too hard, as if there is an objective. The man has made a mistake. His damage is controlling his damage.
Mistake.
Other politicians also make similar errors. We don't take it.
Can I read? It's a mistake. Can I read?
You think he intended to cause and make sure people are killed?
He did say that I'm on video.
He said they killed.
Do we have the video of our directors?
I don't know. You understand Yoruba, right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
So he's telling you I spoke in my mother tongue.
But please. Please.
The video of Senator Fadahunsi saying what he said.
Okay, please.
Do we have it? Can we please play?
So I don't understand the language.
So please, you need to understand before you take a stand, so our viewers don't chastise you.
No, I'm taking a stand from national matters, not because I'm not focusing on him.
No, but we are focusing on
I have a lot of him in the country.
Let's see.
So àtidé àti wá sọ fún yín títí dọjọ́ ìbò tí a bá rí wọn nípa mi o. Àwọn òbí máa wò.
Let me respond.
Okay.
This is a big mistake. That is my conclusion. I cannot imagine. This is a mistake. I said it because he got carried away. Because how could
you don't think this is a crime?
Mr. Katuba, according to your
police
logic,
to determine crime. I am not going to be able to sit here and say it's a crime.
According to your logic,
yes,
that means we should go to all correctional facilities in Nigeria
and forgive them for their mistakes.
I didn't say so. I've not said. Listen. Are you listening to me?
No, that's what you
said. I said. No. A man made a mistake, and I'm saying this is a mistake. How could he make such a statement openly? It's a mistake, in my opinion.
Chief Press Secretary, who's joining us now. Chief Press Secretary, thank you so much for joining us on Breakfast Central all the way from Osun State. Can you quickly, Mr. Rashid, can you hear us? First off, let's establish communication. Okay. All right. Can you react to the conversation we're having here? What do you make of Senator Fadahunsi's statement about, taking out any Accord party members that they can find, including their family and wives and children. What do you make of that statement? Do you think it was a mistake as the chief press secretary?
Yes, I think it's just a confirmation of what has been happening in Jesaland. We've lost over almost 15 members of our court now, and the bulk of them are from Jesaland. So what the senator said, whether what your man is saying is an error or whatever, the reality is that whether it's an error or deliberate, what is on ground, what is happening in Jesaland, confirm that statement. Our court members are being killed on a daily basis. They are being shot at, their houses are being raided, and they are being taken, so many of them are arrested and taken to Abuja. So let's leave the issue of whether the senator made a mistake or it's not a... What is happening in Jesaland, what is actually happening, is the fact that our court members are being killed. And many are being arrested, their houses are being burgled, raided. So let's say it's a mistake, let's say it's a reality, but what is happening on ground? Our court members are being killed in Osun. Okay. It is no longer electoral matter, it's like war. Many of our leaders cannot sleep in their house. The street of Ilesa is always on edge. So when the senator now came up and said, hey, Emma Pawoni, now, people can spin it and say, well, it's an error, it's a slip of tongue. Well, fine. But the good thing that is interesting is that security agencies have taken over, they've invited him. I think we should allow due process, rule of law, to take its course.
Okay. I mean, talking about rule of law, the countdown to the election is just around the corner, the elections. And just a few hours ago, we had other supporters of the APC also calling for a complete attack on non-APC members. Don't you think this will affect the electorates? Are we not going to see voter apathy come Saturday, or do you have a different opinion?
No, you know, Osun is Osun people are politically savvy, well-educated and determined people. They are a generation that you cannot just muzzle, and our people will come out and vote. There won't be voter apathy. I want to assure you that Osun people will come out and exercise their voting right. We have a literacy level above 90 in Osun. Osun is actually the cradle of Yoruba land. So you cannot cow the people. You cannot cram them and say, oh, because we are shooting guns, so people will not come out. People will come out and vote. And of course, it is obvious that their choice is Imole, Governor Ademola, Jackson, and Adeleke. Now, you mentioned something about other chieftains. Now, Senator Fadahunsi said his own today, few hours after a rep candidate of APC repeated the same thing. Right back at Ikire, a chief at Ikire also said the same thing. That if you are not voting for our party, if you come to vote, we finish you. Now, democracy is rule-based. What is democracy? That is the right to vote and be voted for. Democracy is not war. I told somebody something yesterday. Democracy removed the animalistic instinct in us because it provides rules of engagement. The moment you remove those rules of engagement, we become animals. Then it's not about people are calling for blood, people yearning for killing. Then that is no longer democracy. And we are in a democracy. We are not in a dictatorship. So I can assure you there will be no voter apathy. Also, people are tough people. Ijesha people in particular, you know, women talk about Baba ati Yawa ni Ijesha won lagidi. That is to say they are strong will. You can't cow them. You can't cow Osun people. You can't cow Iwo people, Oshogbo people. People will come out and vote because it's their constitutional right to vote and be voted for.
All right. Thank you very much, sir, for joining us this morning. We wish Osun people all the best with the elections. Our correspondents are on ground. We'll be following it minute by minute and bringing updates to Nigerians regarding the Osun elections. May the best man win, and may the voice of the people be the voice of God.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's come back into the studio. We have like less than 3 minutes.
When I say somebody made a mistake, it's comparable to the El-Rufai matter. El-Rufai came on national and made a mistake. And I told everybody this is a grave mistake. What happened thereafter was determined by the law enforcement agency. So
there are consequences.
In the case of this, no, it's also, I know.
Mistake is the problem.
I use the word, I'm speaking as an analyst. The law enforcement people are already speaking with him. once they determine that he has done something, I will see it as a mistake to have exposed himself, to have spoken in that manner, and then the law should take its course, just as the president
said. A mistake is a mistake when there isn't the potential or the possibility of a life being lost. El Rufai's mistake had no life.
Oh, no, you don't
when he said, they said that they tapped his phone.
Yeah, that's it. No, that they tapped national.
But they tapped his phone. There's nobody's life that's at risk here.
The nation, if the entire.
But somebody says kill people.
No, hold on.
No,
that's
apples and oranges.
Just a minute. When somebody says he has tapped the phone of the national security of a country, it is 20 million people's lives that are at stake. Because what he will use that information for could potentially lead to the seizure and destruction of.
Under the Electoral Act 2022.
In this case, I'm not saying that his matter is not a crime or it's potentially a crime.
It is a crime. Section 91 prohibits any candidate,
it's a crime,
aspirant or person from directly
I cannot determine that.
I'm reading the law for you. I'm reading the law for you, the Electoral Act. Section 91, it prohibits any candidate, aspirant or person from directly or indirectly threatening any person with force or violence during a political campaign to compel support.
I like that as the law, but the law enforcement will determine now if what he has said, because the man is saying, this is not what I said.
He doubled down. He knew there were cameras there. He acknowledged the presence of cameras, and he said what he said, knowing and taking full responsibility of his words. And then you think people that are in prison don't regret their actions or they made mistakes?
Even him can go for it, but that is, he will see that. So he will regret the mistake.
If, as a citizen, as a Nigerian,
yes,
if you're in charge of the security agencies,
yes,
would you find him culpable?
I will find him culpable after the investigation. That's why I said the law enforcement.
What are you investigating?
They are investigating the statement he made. The man is saying that my statement, I spoke in my mother tongue. So they will go and do.
We've done the translation for you.
You did yourself, but he will not
myself.
You see what I'm saying? We cannot. You see, it's a political. It's a statement made on a political platform.
No,
I'm telling you, they are going to be interpreting it. You can see already. It's already going through the process. If it's a crime and it's found, the process that it should go through. They have called the police. What did they do? The police have come. Police are already in the matter.
Have you seen
the press secretary? Said, please let the law take it.
Mr. Akatu,
we cannot conclude.
I have a gift for you. Next time you are on this show,
yes,
those young couple that just got married in Kano, I will borrow one of their Kwankasia with the senator infinity logo emblem.
I am of the opinion that
the guy is angry.
You know, we have seen emotional. We've seen people that look, they are really guilty, but when tested through the process of law, they are found not exactly. I don't want to be the one concluding, but I can only say that his statement is condemnable. Can I finish saying?
What's the time?
It's condemnable. It's not acceptable. But whether it's a crime or not, the law enforcement will determine.
Okay. What's the time?
Okay.
It's time to get out of the studio.
To get out of the studio already.
It's time for us to get out of the studio.
We've not even started yet.
Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to our virtual audience.
Tomorrow is the election, so please get ready.
Tomorrow is the eve of the election.
That's the last day.
It is election for us on the studio.
For us.
We have to get out.
You will be in Osun and
of course, our correspondents are already there.
We have about almost all our reporters in everywhere.
Yeah.
So you'll be all day on Saturday.
Every day, all day.
All day on Saturday.
It's the station to watch.
Yeah, this is the best.
Real-time update.
It's News Central.